All right. Fantastic, fantastic. I realized the record button wasn't working, which wasn't so good. Usually it just turns on straight away. So for those of you who are watching the recording, I didn't press the record button earlier. So big welcome to the 100K Wealth Plan. Now, so for those of you who haven't met me yet, my name is Todd. So I've been a professional investor for around 20 years now. So my journey began in a process where I was a burned out personal trainer, right? I was working 15, 16 hours a day, 6 days a week, 50 weeks of the year, trying to get ahead in life because I had this one rule of how I was going to create success in life. And what that one rule fundamentally was all about was that the harder I work, the more successful I'll become. Who's tried that rule in life before of how to actually be successful and make some money and do all those different type of things? Who's tried that rule of life before? Has anyone tried that? Or is that just me? Who's done that before? Yeah, absolutely. So that was a rule I was playing by. And by the age of about 19, I literally broke myself, right? I broke my health, wound up in hospital, had leg surgery on both my legs, was getting sick all the time. You know, go Todd, good personal trainer, getting sick all the time. Broke my relationships at the time, didn't have a personal life to think about. And literally, I got to the point of looking at my bank balance at the end of a year when I was 19 years old after working 15 hours a day, 6 days a week for 52 weeks of the year and realized I was still broke financially. And I got to that point of sitting there going, shit, there's got to be a better way than this. And it was the real getting that point of like absolute desperation, so to speak, where I'd literally broken everything and getting to the point of got to find another way in life. And I wound up buying my first property deal at the age of 20, made more money in that one property deal than in my entire year's income when I was 20 years old. And it literally shifted my entire life from there. So I've been 20 years in the investment game, teaching, speaking, and training thousands and tens of thousands of investors across Australia and different parts of the world for the last 20 years. I'm founder of a Portfolio Wealth. We're an education training company helping everyday people to break free financially. I've helped investors do over $2 billion in deals to date and counting, and I think that's really, really conservative. Authored a book, been in a heck of a lot of media. My main background is in property investing. I've certainly taught and traded extensively on shares and options trading. I'm a complete crypto nerd. I've run courses and training programs on crypto. I do a lot in business investing, alternative investing, metals, private funding, and a whole lot of stuff. Because to me, when it comes to investing, I never get caught up in being in property. They get caught up in shares. Don't get caught up in crypto. I get caught up in doing what works. Because here's the thing. Although my major background is in property investing, I have found for the vast majority of people, especially in this day and age, just being a property investor is not enough to create financial freedom. Who here is a property investor already and you've got a couple of deals under your belt and then you found yourself stuck? Who's in that boat where you've done a couple of deals and then you sit there and go, I can't move forward and I'm done. And the bank has said no more money to you. The broker has said nothing else for you to be able to get. Has anyone gotten themselves into that boat? Yeah, a lot of people have. And this whole pathway of just doing the whole let's buy a few properties and hope it's going to work out, it does not work in this day and age. The entire market is going to shift. And so what I focus on doing is helping investors create a layered strategy using multiple different asset classes as part of one system to create an overarching wealth system to start moving you predictably towards the financial freedom you want to be able to create. You know, the reason I'm telling you all this is that, you know what, after working with tens of thousands of people, there is probably not a situation you can bring me that I haven't seen before. And what I know to be very, very true is that when it comes to investing, it doesn't matter how much money you have to begin with. That's not the indicator of success. It doesn't matter how much you are earning. It doesn't matter whether you're 25 years old or 50 years old or anywhere in between or 70 years old or whatever it actually might be. What matters is all about your desire to make a change in your current situation, right? That's what truly does matter. I've worked with cosmetic surgeons earning $500,000 a year who are dead broke. I've worked with single mums who have 5 properties in their portfolio earning $50,000, $55,000 a year. And so it doesn't matter the situation you start in. What truly does matter is what is the next step you're going to take. And what I want you to know is that there is a next step for you, no matter what situation you're starting in right now. So tonight, what we're going to be talking about is 5 very, very critical things. We're going to be talking about how you can go and create your very own wealth business plan. One of my core beliefs and knowings is that your investment business, the investment portfolio, your money in your life is a business. Now, the unfortunate thing is that most people treat their money like a hobby. And because they treat it like a hobby, they wind up getting hobby-like results. Where if you actually treat your financial life like a business, what tends to happen is that you begin to start approaching it in a very, very different way. So we want to start creating a plan of how to actually turn your money into a business and begin to grow wealth from it. What we're then going to focus on doing is get into preparation, because the great deals are not going to wait for you to sort your shit out and get all your ducks in a row. So we've got to get a plan in place. Then we've got to prepare to execute on the plan, because all the most beautiful strategy in the world doesn't mean squat unless you do something with it. Once we execute on the plan, we need to then protect our wealth, because sustainable wealth is only created when you keep what you actually grow. Now, coming from someone, what I haven't told you about my journey, and I brushed over very, very quickly, and I'm going to share a lot of my lessons along the way after 20 years as an investor and creating financial freedom, retiring twice before, and all those type of things, is that, you know what? I also went through the experience of losing everything once before, literally lost everything and had to start all over again. Anyone that has lost everything, you know that it's a painful, painful process. To me, as a coach, it was the most valuable process in the world, because I am so hypersensitive around protecting people and protecting their portfolios. So we then protect ourselves. Then we want to start profiting from our investments. So this is where we talk about the certain types of deals that you get access to. Because let me tell you straight off the bat, the best deals are never done on realestate.com or Domain or the share market or coin market cap or wherever you're doing. The best deals are always done off market. So I want to talk to you about how you can actually start getting access to a better quality type of off-market deal, which makes you more profit, makes you more cash flow, and helps you accelerate your portfolio. And then finally, we're going to talk about perpetuate. How can you get your money making more money for you so that you can actually start to get your most valuable resource back, being your time? So we're going to plan, prepare, protect, profit, and perpetuate. That's what we're going to be, the process that we're going to be moving through tonight. Now, how do you get the most out of tonight? It really comes down to this one very simple fundamental thing. Give yourself the gift of the financial and investment education. That's what it fundamentally all comes down to. Now, how do we do that? Right? You've invested some time to actually be here this evening, to spend some time with this crazy guy called Todd, who's going to talk a million miles an hour, is going to give you everything I possibly can in this next few hour process as I'm teaching you an entire system around developing wealth and building your portfolio. Give yourself the gift of actually being fully present here in this moment and actually getting the gift of financial education. Because you're not taught it in school, we're not taught it at work, certainly not taught it by the tax office, you can tell you that right now. Most financial planners and accountants don't know how to build wealth themselves and don't actually have their own portfolios. Most, not all. Most real estate agents don't know how to do it. Most brokers don't know how to do it. This is your chance to be here to actually get the financial education that we all should have been taught in school. And then what that means is that you've got to show up for yourself right now. It means don't allow yourself to get distracted. Don't start browsing on other things or get distracted by everything else around you, because this 2 hours could fundamentally shift your entire course of direction of your life, as it has for many of my clients who work with me, many of my clients who are on board with me right now, turning up again and listening in. And yeah, there's a shout out to all of you guys that are doing that right now. I see a whole bunch of my existing clients show up time and time again, even though some of it's the same information, because they know that the more they learn, the more they earn, right? And they're here to actually make a difference in their financial lives. So be present. That's the biggest actually thing for you to be here this evening. Be present and play full out and give yourself the gift of financial education. Now, unfortunately, most people fail when it comes to money and it comes to wealth creation, when it comes to investing in their life. Why do you think that is? What are some of the reasons that you think most people fail when it actually comes time to growing their wealth and creating financial freedom? Because let's be clear, everyone wants to create financial freedom, right? Everyone I meet wants to create financial freedom. Unfortunately, very few people actually do. Now, Belinda goes, we're taught to fail. I absolutely agree with that. Why is that the case? Like, why do most people fail when it comes to growing wealth and creating financial freedom in their life? Now, with any luck, my pencil is going to start working. There we go. Okay, let's get some of these down. So, letting emotions dictate our actions. And this is a big one. Emotions plus investing generally means you're going to lose money, right? That's a big one. What else? Ignorance, Debbie. Yeah, 100%. Big one. What else? Poor habits. Yeah, most of us have really dirty minds when it comes to money, right? We have really, really dirty minds when it comes to money. We're just not given a strong financial foundation to be able to grow wealth from. Scared to take the leap. Now, the question you've got to ask yourself, the parents out there, have you ever wondered what financial habits you're passing down to your kids? Have you ever wondered what habits that you picked up from your parents and you picked up from work and you picked up from going through society, which has gotten you to a point in your financial life that you're in right now? Have you ever wondered how your actions, what actions you are demonstrating to your kids and what habits you're passing on? That's an interesting thing to be able to have a bit of a consideration of. That's interesting. And then ask yourself, are you okay with that? So Sandy goes, scared to take the leap. Yeah, 100%. Because for a lot of people, investing is this big, crazy, outrageous, weird thing over here that we don't know. And because we haven't done it before, we feel fearful around it. Now, what's scarier to me than taking the leap is staying exactly the same place where you are right now. That's scarier. To me, that's like a nightmare, is waking up in 5 years' time and realizing that I'm in the exact same position I was in 5 years before. Like, who here knows that you've needed to take control of your financial life and you needed to get started in investing probably a little while ago now? Who here knows that you should have gotten started taking control of your financial life perhaps a little while ago, but for whatever reason, you just haven't done it yet? Whether you got distracted in life, you just kept telling yourself you bought into your excuses why you can't and why you can't do it now. Whether you decided that, it was all too risky. Like, be honest, who's known that they've had to get started in investing, but just for whatever reason haven't gotten around to it? Who's in that boat? Yeah, I'm getting a bunch of private messages come through, actually. Yeah, stories hold me back, Debbie says. Yeah, definitely excuses. Yeah. Yeah, why not me? Why not now? And a lot of people spend their lives waiting for the perfect time and waiting for the perfect moment. So a lot of people are fearful. There's no doubt about it. Nico goes, not having a plan, 100%, because if you don't have a strategy, if you don't have a plan, then you're practically gambling, okay? And so investors don't gamble. We make moves based on strategy and based on intention. Really, really important. So he also goes, not knowing what to do and not knowing the rules of money. And this is a really big one because there are different money rules. There are different rules of money played by different types of people in life, right? So one type of money rules is played by everyday person. And those money rules is just simply what the default life rules are. Go to work, get a job, buy a home, pay it off, and that's about it, and put some money away for a rainy day. And those money rules lead to a really predictable outcome of being a financial slave, right? Literally for your entire life. Now, there's another set of rules that the banks and the governments play by, and they kind of, and big corporations and tax offices and things like that. And they just kind of make up the rules as they go, and then they change the rules as they go. Now, then there's another type of rules played by the wealthy. The wealthy get wealthy, not because they were born under the right lucky star, not because they're just luckier than other people or anything like that. The wealthy get wealthy fundamentally because they follow a different set of rules, a different set of money rules and how they play that game of life. And because they follow by a different set of rules, they wind up creating a very different set of results. So if you're not happy with your level of results in your life right now, then you've got to look at the rules of which you're playing the money game of life and realize that, hey, it's not necessarily serving the purpose that it needs to right now. Now, so Kylie says fear. Yeah, Baden says, yeah, there's an old system, 100%. Yep, absolutely. Lack of vision, plan, and a financial goal. Yeah, not having a direction. Like there's no plan, there's no direction where we're heading. Yeah, right. Because if we succeed, our current society structure would crumble. Yeah, exactly right, Belinda. Yeah, stories holding back. The stories about why not you, why not now? Yep, excuses. Right, done a few things, we feel like we should have done more. Cut ties with people who don't have similar vision. Yeah, me too, absolutely. Have had investment properties in the past, but sold them and the dollar vanished. One of the things I teach all my clients that if money loves a plan, money loves structure, money loves order. And if you don't give it the environment to be able to grow in, then what tends to happen? It's going to come out of your life and go to someone else's life who actually has a better structure around it, who values it. Because why would you be given more money to manage if you can't manage what you've already got? Every dollar in your life needs to have a plan, needs to have a purpose. And Catherine, scared to a balance sheet. Last week, I picked my phone, discussed land banking. So good. Yeah, Robert Kiyosaki once said in an early video, show me a person's cash flow, I can tell you whether they're poor, middle class, or rich. That's 100% right. Absolutely. So I would say there's some more around this is that people get some wrong advice. Where do most people tend to turn to get advice around money, around investing, around wealth creation, around lending? Like who do most people tend to turn to? Who's the person that most people ask first? Or the people? Yeah, Jet, 100% right. And Debbie, Belinda, all of you guys nailed it. Parents, family, or friends is what it is. Now, unless your family or friends are multimillionaire investors in their own right, and they've done it not just because they bought a property 40 years ago, then you've got to ask yourself the question, are they necessarily the right people to be able to get advice from? Because the rules of the money game, you know, I was reading something the other day which was scary. I'm not going to get these dates right. Followed by brother-in-law and the taxi driver, 100%. You go, I'm not going to get these dates right. But even in the year 2000, I think is what it was only taking about 2 times, I think is what it was, 2 times a yearly wage to save a deposit, right? It's now up to 10 or 11 times, only fast forwarding 20 years later. So you've got to ask yourself the question, what is it going to be like in another 10 to 20 years' time? Who has kids and you're literally scared about how they're going to be buying a property or owning their own home when they turn 20 or 30 years old? Like if they didn't have you to be able to support them, who's here concerned about that? Because I am. My daughter is 12 years old, turning, oh, great, Belinda, thank you. 2.4 times now, it's 10.6. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, Jet says already in that boat, let alone the next generation. Yeah, my daughter is 12, turning 13, thinks she's going on 18. Bless her soul, right? And now she's going to be fine. We've been investing for years and we talk about money. We have investment nights. We do all these different type of things as a family because there's always something really important to me was to teach her how to take care of money and how to actually learn a different set of rules rather than having to learn them through pain like I had to, right? Now, I think about her in her generation in another 7, 8 years time when she hits 20. How on earth is she going to possibly buy a home? You know, the average first home buyer now is 36 years old. 36 years old. The number of first home buyers are in their 40s grew by 60% within the last 5 years alone. Here's what I think. If you're not invested, if you don't own real estate or invested in real estate in the next 10 years, potentially even 5 years, I don't even think you'll ever get in on it. There is a wealth divide which is happening in the world right now. And property is going to be one of the biggest differentiators of that, drivers of that wealth divide. Whether you agree with it or not, or whether you like it or not, is irrelevant. That is what is happening in the world. And you've got to make the decision which side of that wealth divide that you are going to be on. Yeah, it's okay. The World Economic Forum will have unrolled its, I don't know what that word is, Machiavellic plan of own nothing and be happy. I don't know what that means. But yeah, own nothing and be happy. Our kids will be just fine. Yeah, you're right, Nico. We should just rely on the government, know that they've got our backs, and they always look out for our best interest. And the tax office and all the banks. Ah, the devil. Right, okay. Bloody school teacher, Nico. Of course you'd know the words like that. Home ownership became like a failing since 1971 because of this current monetary system. Yeah, wholeheartedly. Right, so we've got to start playing by a different set of rules in life. That's what it's all about. We work our entire lives for money, but here's the reality is that we're never taught how to use it, how to manage it, how to grow it. I love this quote from the late Jim Rohn, is that a formal education will make you a living, a financial education will make you a fortune. And so we want to start getting that financial education, because if you don't, then you wind up being at the mercy of basically everything. If you think about in the last, since the global financial crisis, if we rewind, I can't do math right now. This is a good example of you don't have to be good at math to be wealthy, right? I failed math at school. Anyway, 2008 till now, whatever that is, 12, 15 years, whatever it is. So if you rewind even 15 years ago, and you look at all the things that have occurred external to your own control, and you ask yourself, how in control are you? Right, we look at the global financial crisis, we look at the COVID situation that's happened, we look at how the government keeps changing all the goalposts when it comes to taxes, when it comes to superannuation, when it comes to how they manage monetary policy, and the 13 different interest rate rises we've just seen that's impacted so many people. Like, if you look at all these different types of situations, how they've introduced, I think it's 20 new taxes in Melbourne in the last couple of years alone. Like, if you start looking at all these situations and you see all these scenarios that are outside of your control, right? This is one of the biggest things, is that you actually have to start taking control and create your own economy. Otherwise, you're going to be steamrolled. And with central bank digital currencies coming, and digital identities on the way, and all the different things where AI and all these things, how it's interacting and changing how we live our life. Now more than ever, it's important to be in control of this, because otherwise I'm truly scared for people that they're going to get steamrolled into the future, right? Now, here's some of the reasons why, right? Here's some of the reasons why people are going to have some challenges, right? Why people have challenges when it comes to building wealth and investing. Wealth challenge number one is that most people don't have a wealth building strategy. Basically, they wind up taking random actions, which leads to random results, which is basically akin to gambling, right? They have no systems, no predictability. It's just, am I going to put things on red or am I going to put it on black? They get access to kind of leftover deals, wind up with inconsistent results. And here's the thing, if you don't get your money working hard for you, then you spend your entire life working hard for money. So instead of randomness, what we want to do is that we want to get very, very intentional with our money, right? You want to get a personalized plan and a personalized strategy, which gets your money working harder for you than you ever have to work for your money. You get targeted and intentional while you watch your money grow in your sleep. So you, rather than just kind of letting money just be a lazy money in your life, you get it out there and getting it working for you, because money loves to be put to work. You stop gambling and start investing, and you once and for all feel in control of your financial future with the confidence you can create financial freedom for your future. And you begin to access off-market deals that deliver more cash flow and profits in your back pocket, leading to a set of strong, diversified, passive income streams flowing into your bank account. Right? Who prefers that pathway rather than just having a stab and hoping for the best? Because that's what investors do. And you've got to start getting your head into the game of becoming an investor. Wealth challenge number two is that a lot of people are unprepared, right? Their ducks are not in a row. They're unstable, uncertain in their situation. And you have to constantly wave goodbye to good opportunities that come your way. Like, who's had this experience where you've recognized a good opportunity, whether it be investment, whether it be business, whether it be timing, whatever it is. You recognized a good opportunity, but you just didn't have your shit together. And so you had to watch that opportunity just kind of pass you by. Who's had that experience before? And how did it make you feel? Yeah, Adam says often. Jet goes, yet, and watch it drift away. Debbie says, sadly, yes. How does it make you feel when you have to wave goodbye to good opportunities that could have a real opportunity to kind of change your life, and you just can't grab them because you're just not organized? Right? I mean, I've experienced that before, and it really does like saying goodbye to a best friend. Adam goes crap and even crappier. Yeah, I don't have enough dollars saved to be part of all the good opportunities. And any of my clients who are online with me right now, when you say good, Stephen goes, no comment. You know how it feels when you see all the different deals that I bring to the table. You just, like a kid in a candy store, you just want to do everything. Debbie goes, dumbass. So you wind up missing the train. And time again, you have to wave goodbye to good opportunities as they go. Instead, what you want to focus on doing is that you want to get all your ducks in a row, allowing you to access fast-moving opportunities, because great opportunities aren't going to wait around for you. You move with confidence, you execute rapidly, and you leapfrog to the next deal and the next deal and the next deal after that. Well, after I bought my first property, because I did so well at that first property, I was able to move into my second property at the age of 20 years old, earning no more than $60,000 a year. I was able to leapfrog into my next property deal within the space of 12 months after buying my first. I got the equity out after 12 months, and I went and leapfrog into my next deal. Guess what? 12 to 18 months later, I did my third property deal. And I'd started investing and trading in shares and options trading at that point in time to create another income stream, right? Doing that first deal the right way and making sure I've got my everything in it, my ducks in a row, allow me to go from one deal to another deal to another deal very, very quickly and very, very rapidly. The third challenge that I see for a lot of people is that they wind up getting average deals, and because they get average deals, they get average results. As I said before, the best deals are never done on market. They're never done on realestate.com and domain. They're never done on you know, like the normal crypto exchanges or anything like that. The best deals are always done off market. Yeah, Adam goes, seeing your deals is motivation to get it going harder and harder. Yeah, because you want to access some of these. So if you're shopping on market like everybody else, then you're just getting the leftovers. And I just want to be straight up and honest with you, right? You're just getting leftovers. So the best deals are already taken. You might hear about the great deals, but never ever seen them. And you wind up being stuck on the sidelines. Now, I want to tell you that incredible deals are available for everybody, right? You just have to know where to look. You just have to know how to access them. You just have to be involved in the right networks and have the right relationships to be able to be a part of them. So I don't want you to be a seagull, right, where you are sitting there and fighting for the same scraps of deals that are thrown on the ground like everybody else, right? Yeah, Catherine goes, yes, to realize others get 15% is higher is just, you know, the universe. And so when we talk about 15% deals, I mean, goodness, I must have 10 deals right now that get anywhere from 12 to 20% plus of type of deals coming along. So like those type of deals are available, right? But most people don't know where to look. They don't know how to access them. And quite frankly, the government doesn't want a lot of people to, which is why they keep, here's some better news for you. There's something called the sophisticated investors test or a wholesale investor. Who's heard of that before? Who knows what the criteria is to tick the box of being a sophisticated investor? What's the criteria? In Australia, that is. Yeah, more than that, Jet. Yeah, it's either you have to have 200K income or more over 2 consistent years. Is it 200 or 250? I haven't got off the top of my head. Or you have assets of I think it's $2 million net, right? So there's 3 ways to qualify as a sophisticated investor. And I'll tell you why this is in a moment, right? A lot more than I earn either way. I believe it's $250,000 over 2 consecutive years signed off by your accountant, or $2 million net in assets, or you putting $500,000 in one particular opportunity. Right. So, and then you get ticked off as a sophisticated investor. Now, let me tell you why this is important and why it's also a load of bullshit. So, a lot of wholesale deals, what's called a wholesale deal, in order for those deals to be compliant, they have to get all the investors signed off as a sophisticated investor by an accountant. Okay. Now, the government has set this up to protect people because they're saying that unsophisticated people, they don't understand the risks of these investments and they might be taken for a ride, or because they don't understand it, they shouldn't be accessing or shouldn't be doing it and things like that. Right? Yeah, Nico feels protected. Now, just because someone has a lot of money doesn't mean they know anything about wealth building or investing. I know a lot of people that have a lot of money. They might have inherited it. They might have done this. They might have built a business or whatever it is. Doesn't mean they know jack shit about investing or how to actually use or manage that money. A lotto winner would be considered a sophisticated investor, even though they didn't do anything, no education, no nothing to be able to earn it. So one is that they go, well, protect people. Two is that they go, well, they've got enough money so that if they lose the money in a deal, they're not going to get wiped out, which really is a funny, another way of saying that the government isn't going to have to take care of them as part of a pension, right? It's part of the pension plan. Now, but what is this doing? All of a sudden, only the wealthy can get access to a certain type of deal that can actually create more results. And so it's actually growing this wealth divide. And so the very people that need access to better deals, right, to actually create more results so that they can speed up their returns, they can't even get access to it because they're not considered sophisticated, even though they might be 1,000 times more educated than these people over here. It is a broken system. Now, the government is talking about right now to raise that sophisticated assets test up from $2.5 million net. I was reading the other day, I think to $4 or $5 million net to even get on this list. It is absolutely crazy what is going on. And this is why I love bringing epic deals to the table to people that you wouldn't normally get access to it, because it's bullshit that there's only a certain portion of the population should be able to get it, right? But it's also the core reason why I bring it to my investors who are actually educated and know what they're doing. Otherwise, other people blow themselves up, right? So instead, rather than fighting with the seagulls, you want to install a strategic deal flow system which delivers strategically aligned off-market deals offered to you on a silver platter that are pre-negotiated, that have 90% of the due diligence already done for you, which you then filter through a due diligence framework to get to a strong yes or a strong no based on your situation, upon which you then have the confidence to execute on rapidly, meaning you wind up installing great opportunities which deliver more cash flow and profits into your back pocket, leading to a set of stronger diversified passive income streams flowing to your bank account, which ultimately compound your profits, speeding up your journey towards financial freedom. Who likes that idea of getting a deal flow system in play? Because it's possible for each and every one of you, right? It's still not reserved for the wealthy. It's not reserved for a certain type of person. It's available for every single one of you if you learn how to do it. Instead, this is what you install. And to me, this is what the end game, yeah, like Jet, it's like being fed with tasty foods. Yeah, this is what the end game is all about. You install a proven wealth system, which ultimately grows for you a sustainable, diversified portfolio of quality assets, which delivers a consistent, reliable income stream into your bank account to fund the lifestyle you desire. This is the purpose of investing. Who here agrees with that definition? This is what the purpose of building an investment portfolio is all about. And this is what financial freedom is all about. It's not about how many assets you have. It's not about how much money you have. What it is about the choices to be able to live the life unlimited by how much money you earn. This should be in the Bible, Jet says, in the Wealth Bible. Because wealth is a system. That's the truth of the matter. But the system that you're running is going to change the type of vehicle that you're actually going to wind up creating. So for you, are you running a system which is delivering this type of outcome where your your money vehicle is broken down on the side of the road? Or are you turbocharged, right? Do you have a system which is starting to turbocharge your wealth and starting to compound your profits, right? That's what you've got to ask yourself the question around. Now, whenever I work with any of my investment, Maserati, made by Toyota, reliable. Yeah. Is that right? Isn't Maserati made by Toyota? Or is that it's not, is it, mate? You're just pulling, this is like an analogy or a metaphor or some shit, isn't it? Yeah. You're blowing my mind tonight, Nico. Seriously. Just my ideal car metaphor. Thank you very much. Yeah, honestly, you're blowing my mind. I was going, that's my brain was schisming. Yeah, Lexus is a Toyota premium though. Yeah, I know that. So when you're talking about a system, this is a system that I've been building for the last 20 odd years. After working with tens of thousands of investors, of creating it in my own life, of fine tuning it, stuffing things up, learning, redoing it. This is the culmination of 20 years as a professional investor. And it's the portfolio builder system. Now, whenever I work with any of my investors in the Invest program or the Scale program, these are two programs that I run where I work with investors. One is I teach you my entire system. You go out, deploy it yourself, and you get access to some cool deals along the way and a whole lot of trainings and systems. The Scale program is I work with you one-on-one to be able to go and supercharge and grow your wealth at a much, much faster rate because we're all hands-on together. Now, I'm going to be talking you through this system bit by bit along the way tonight. But fundamentally, in the very center of the system is what the outcome is. How can we create 100K passive income? And the reason the outcome is 100K is because I want to tell you, I reckon 80 to 90% of people that come my way suggest a six-figure passive income, 100K, if they were earning that from their investment portfolio and they had their home paid off, they'd be able to live a reasonable quality of life. Like everything would be okay. Who's in that boat? Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't be earning more and we don't go for more and earn more. But if you were earning 100K from your investment portfolio, who'd be okay with that? Who'd be okay with creating a certain level of financial freedom off 100K where you've literally got 2K a week of kicking around cash just to do what you want with? Yeah, good start, right? Yeah, it'll do for now, right? And Baden, you're right. This is a North Star. Now, your ultimate vision might be higher than that. It might be like, you mightn't need that much. You might be going, Todd, I've got a client. They sit there and go, do you know what? Because someone's talking about off-grid before. I'm going off-grid. If I was earning $45,000 a year, I'd be happy because I'm self-sustainable. I don't need any more than that. And so that's their first level of financial freedom set in. Now, so whatever your figure is, there's no right or wrong. What I know to be true is that no matter what situation you are starting on right now, no matter what, within the next 10 to 15 years, every single person has the capacity to grow a six-figure passive income. And some of you can do it a heck of a lot sooner. I've had clients that come in and started working with me and 12, 18 months later, they're already on 6 figures passive income, right? Some people do it in 5 years, some will do it in 8 years, some 10, some might even do it in 15. There's no right or wrong. It's all just got to do with what is your pathway. Now, there's 3 key paths to this system. Number 1 is you got to have a strategy, because without a strategy, without a plan, you're just wandering around in the dark and you're hoping for the best. And your financial future is way too important for you to just go out and give it a crack and throw a bit of paint at the wall and hope that it sticks, right? You've got to get strategic. You've got to get intentional with your money and start treating it like a business. One moment, someone's unmuted themselves. Let me sort that. Okay, done. I have the power. Here we go. The second thing that you need is structure. So you want to get yourself structured in a way that you can, the money that you create, you wind up keeping. You can begin to access off-market deals. You can create more leverage in your life so you can move, not be the bottleneck to your own success, and you can protect yourself, your family, and your portfolio. The third element is to systemize all this so your money is out there making more money for you. Strategy, structure, system. Step by step along the way tonight, we're going to be moving through each of these so you have an understanding what they actually are and why it fits into the part of the portfolio. Now, we don't have time to dig into these in a lot of detail, okay? So some of these I'm just going to brush over. Some of these I'm going to take a little bit of time to go a little bit deeper for you, so you've got some key tangible action steps to be able to take away. In the end, what the system is designed to create is more time, more money, more freedom, and more choice. That's what the game fundamentally all is. Ben and Alice did exactly this. I met Ben and Alice in the Gold Coast in 2014. They now have 9 properties in their portfolio. They earn more from their portfolio than their day jobs, and they have multiple income streams coming in. Tony did this. I met Tony in Melbourne in 2019. He had an existing portfolio already of a couple of deals, but they were lazy, had a lot of lazy money lying around. He ran a business, but had no idea how he was actually going to exit that business or how to actually create a scenario where he could within the next kind of decade. Within the space of literally 4 years now, 4 years I've been working with Tony. He's now got 7 properties in his portfolio. He's diversified across multiple different asset classes, 200,000 in passive income coming in, and a 200,000 profit train coming in the space of 4 years. He's just retired from his business. He sold his business and bought his dream home, moved up to Cairns, where he's living right now, and he's set literally for the rest of his life. Rodney and Pin. Rodney is a current client of mine. He's very often running around in these events with me. Not there tonight. He might be driving. So Rodney was a postie. He now drives trains and trams down in Sydney. When I met Rodney and Pin, like, they had no investments whatsoever. Nothing at all. Within the space of 2 years now, they built their first home. He's wound up with the right finance system in place. He's saving 40% of his income. He's bought 2 investment properties, has monthly passive income. He now has 6 different income streams coming in, and his net worth grew by 300,000 in 2023. He hit his $1 million net worth mark just in 2022. In 2023, that grew by an additional $300,000 within the space of about 12 odd months, right? All of these people started from the ground up, right? And what I mean by the ground up is knowing nothing about investing, but having the courage to take the first step. Peter and Julie did this, right? Met these guys in Sydney in 2013. I'm showing you some people here. I just started work recently and started some I've been working with for a decade or so. So Sydney in 2013, in their early 20s. Now, by their early 30s, they have 6 properties, a $3 million portfolio, 150,000 in gross income, and they've done all of that in the space of 8 years. And they will tell you themselves they knew nothing about investing whatsoever. Sanders was a nurse. His wife was a nurse. He immigrated from Zimbabwe 9 years earlier before I met him. He went from 1 to 9 properties in 5 years with a $5 million valuation. Now, that was up till 2016. In 2020, he has 17 properties in his portfolio, was fully financially free, and now it helps other people find deals. Vince, I met Vince in Melbourne in 2016. He went from 0 to $1.5 million in the space of 9 months, made 100K in his first property deal. 2021 had a 6-figure passive income, is urging towards the almost $200,000 passive income right now, diversified portfolio and financially free. There is nothing special about any one of these people, apart from the fact that they had the courage to take the first step, that they made the commitment to get themselves educated, to get some support, to get some mentoring, and to get involved in investing and actually commit to the journey. That's what's special about these people. They weren't born on a lucky star. They weren't all geniuses. They didn't inherit a lot of money or win lotto or anything like that. So anything that's coming up in your head right now where you're going, oh, there must be something different about them, you need to squash that right now, because literally there is nothing. They're just good, hardworking people who wanted something different for their financial futures and had the courage to actually take that step. And you know what? You have that opportunity to do that as well. Now, the only opportunity that is available for you guys tonight, like, there's nothing for you guys to buy, right? The only opportunity that is available for you guys tonight is to book in a free 20-minute call with one of my team, Baden. So Baden's online with us right now, and anyone that's had the pleasure of having a chat to Baden, you already know he's a great guy. He really gives a shit about you and cares about supporting you and cares about helping you. And in this 20-minute call, here's what you're going to go through. He's going to take some time to work with you, help you to understand exactly where you are right now. He's going to talk to you about where do you want to be in the future so you can get clear on what direction you want to be in. He's then going to help you understand what is your potential bottleneck that might be holding you back, and then talk to you about what your potential next step is within your portfolio. Now, your worst case scenario is you're going to learn more about yourself, learn more about your situation, and then Baden's going to put you in touch with some different trainings and resources and tools, or give you some strategic direction to be able to start moving towards the outcomes you want to create. That's the worst case scenario, and it's absolutely free. It doesn't cost you anything. The best case scenario is that you completely change your financial life from then on in, right? Because every single one of these people that I've spoken about, and you know, the 20 odd people that are online with me right now, tonight, that are my clients, every single one of them started in that exact same situation, right? By booking in this very first phone call with Baden, with my team, doesn't cost you anything to really understand your situation and know what's going to happen next. So if you're someone who's committed to growing your portfolio and taking control of your financial future, then this is what your next step is going to be. So what we're going to do, we're going to drop the call link into the chat right now. And so at any time during this session, during tonight, as I continue talking to you guys about the system, about the strategies and such, you want to schedule in that call. If you want to skip the queue and do it right now, then go and get that done at this point in time, so that, and this is you locking in your commitment, right? So you stop stuffing around, stop giving into your excuses, stop going, I'll do it later, or you know, wait till my kids grow up, or wait till the weather changes, or wait till there's less rain or more rain, or El Nino or La Nina or whatever's going on. You just kind of put it in there. You just commit and just get it done if you actually want to change your financial life. So we're going to leave that there, and we'll talk about that again a little bit later on. But that's the only opportunity that's available for you guys this evening. Now, let's get into it. Yeah, New Year's chapter, 100%. That's so absolutely true, right? We're in 2024, team. Didn't last year fly by? Didn't it just go crazy? How much stuff was going on, right? What do you want to create this year? How do you want 2024 to be different than 2023? And what are you going to do about it is the question that you want to be thinking about, right? We're sitting there going to moving towards the end of January, and within 10 days or so, this is exactly where we're going to be. And the first month of the new year is gone. How do you want this year to be different than last year? And what are you going to do about it? Because, you know, I think there's opportunities this year to put yourself in the driver's seat are enormous. Why do you think I say that? What do you think? Yeah, time just flies. You've got to make this a priority. 100% you do, right? 100%. Honestly, this year, there's a special reason why I think there's a good timing and opportunity to take advantage of this year. Who wants to hazard a guess of why it is? I mean, I think every year is a good year to invest, by the way. But why do you think this year? Why do you think there's some opportunity? Yeah, Adam, 2024 is an implementation year for everything I've learned over the last 3 to 4 years. So right. It's got something to do with economics. I'll help you more. Interest rates. Right. Jet, you hit it. Yeah, Amy, you hit it too. So because interest rates are really high right now, what that means is that the cost of living is really, really high. What that means is that and people are scared, less people are investing. Is everyone following what I'm saying? Right? Now, because less people are investing, what that means is that there's some different level of opportunity. Now, what is predicted to happen by the end of this year? What is predicted to happen? Right, interest rates, well, not a crash, interest rates coming down. Yeah, okay, so there's like, $8 if you're a light bulb Coles. That's crazy. So if you tuned in to my economic briefing that I did a week or two ago, or whenever it was, I spoke about all the different things that were going in on, happening in this next 12 months. Economic situations, wars and things like that are going on. But do you know what? Like, here's what I think is going to happen, especially in Australia. Because the cost of living is so high, there's less people involved in the investing world right now because a lot of people live in fear, right? And yes, it's pinching on people's wallets, 100%. But at the same time, especially when it comes to the world of property, this undersupply is not getting better. In fact, it's getting infinitely worse. Do you know over 500,000 people moved to Australia net last year? And immigration this year is still expecting to be 350,000 people plus. We're not building anywhere near enough properties. We built 170,000 houses last year, where in actual fact, we need shitloads more as the answer. The whole government strategy, we're just going to build 250,000 houses a year for the next 5 years, is a strategy built on sand. It's never going to happen. Australia has never done it before, ever. The closest we've gotten is 220,000 houses before COVID, when we didn't have sky-high interest rates. We had a free-flowing labour market with enough skilled labour coming in without the shortage. We had all the building and construction companies in play. Like, all these different things were in play, which was allowing people to be able to go and build more real estate. We don't have that now. It is never, ever going to happen. It's never going to happen, okay? So here's what we need to be aware of. As the reason that's holding, there's all the interest rates, which is keeping people out of the marketplace. As those interest rates start to drop, we're going to see confidence come back into the market. As that confidence come back into the market, buying pressure is going to start to increase. That buying pressure is increasing into a massive undersupply of real estate already. What do you think is going to happen to prices? Simply supply and demand. I think we'll start to see prices start to move like big time over again, as if they haven't been moving already. I think we'll have a subdued year of real estate growth, maybe between 4 to 8%, which is still not bad. It's still fine, but I think it'll be more subdued. But as we start to see these interest rates drop, I think we're going to start to have some really strong moves in the property market again, right? And confidence in the market will start to come back out. That's my personal opinion around what I see is going on. Now, so what we have to focus on doing is that we have to learn the language of money, right? That's what's really, really important at this juncture. We've got to learn the language of money, because you can't expect to have financial freedom if you don't have financial discipline. But unfortunately, financial inefficiencies are killing most people's wealth, right? That's what's happening to most people. It's killing most people's wealth, because they've got taxes, they've got the owner-occupied home loan, bad debt, poorly set up finance structures, superannuation contributions, taking the piss, lazy money, opportunity cost of fear and inaction. There are 3 big expenses that are occurring in most people's lives. 3 big expenses. Now, team, before I get into this, there's something I'm going to have to do. So I am currently not at home in my normal studio. What that effectively means is that I don't have access to all my normal gorgeousness of things. And this might work, however. And so what that means is that, meaning my gorgeousness of things, I'm talking about all my technology. Now, so I just have to plug this in and just make sure this all works okay. All right, let's see. No, it's not working. I may have to share it in a different way. Otherwise, what I'll have to do is that I'll need to just take my fancy microphone off, and I'll just have to talk to the computer. Okay, that's the other solution, just because some things are deciding they want to start breaking on me. And that would not be useful. Yeah, no, it's not going to work. Okay, here's what I'm going to do, team. I'm going to disconnect my audio, change my audio settings, and just let me know. You guys can. Okay, can you guys hear me okay? Are we still good? Okay, sweet. All right. I see you, Jay, sticking your hand back up while you're relaxing on the couch there, mate. that's how you watch a seminar, that's for sure. All right. Let me just plug these babies in just to make sure this doesn't close down on me. Okay, that's good to go. All right. You guys crack me up. Are we getting a super rant tonight? I'm asking for a friend. Belinda goes, I'm waiting too. All right, let's come back to this. All right, hooray. All right, we're back. Happy days. All right, so I got to figure out where I was. So in most people's lives, there's three big expenses that most people have in their life, right? The first big expense is just the expense of putting a roof over their head. I'm going to take you through a process right now to really get you to have a real understanding of why the work to pay the bills way of doing your money leads to financial slavery, right? That's what I'm going to talk to you guys about right now. Now, the first big expense is the mortgage, right? Now, across Australia, now these statistics are actually a little bit old, right? They're actually a little bit old. So in WA, it takes 23.6% of the family income just to pay the mortgage. In Northern Territory is 19.8%. In South Australia is 27.2%. Victoria is 34.1%. Tas is 24.5%. ACT is 19.7%. New South Wales 36.5%. And 27.5% in Queensland. An Australian-wide average of 31.3%. Now, these are old. What do you think the percentage is right now? What do you reckon it is? Yeah, the percentage is 45.5% of the median weekly family income is being used to just fund the average mortgage. Renting, it's anywhere from 35% to 45% on average. Yeah. This is what it is, which is crazy. Now, why the hell did that turn off? Oh, that's fine. Anyway, that's fine. Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. Okay. So this is, I'm going to use this figure right here. I'm going to use this super duper conservative figure, right? But this is what the actual reality is. Yeah. So proportion of family income required to meet loan repayments. I would say that's potentially even gross income. That's how they would calculate it, right? Because they know all the gross incomes, which is even scarier. Now, the second big expense, of course, is tax.
Yeah, no wonder people are struggling. 100%, right? Like, just look at this. It's insane. It's insane. But the government always wants their piece, and the whole tax situation is changing. Adam, I don't know what the average family's income is off the top of my head. Right, I don't know what it is off the top of my head. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, utilities gone up by 50% last year. All the stuff. Right now, the whole tax situation is changing as well. Do you know that in Australia we're subject to about 120 different taxes? It's not just income tax; it's all the other taxes that go with it. We get taxed left, right, and center, and also then the hidden taxes of inflation. Now, inflation has been up to around the 7% mark, right? Now, what that means is that if your money wasn't growing at 7% on average, you were going backwards last year, or even still this year. You're literally going backwards. This is why you can't just have your money in a bank, right? Now, the highest marginal tax rate in Australia is 45%, but add some Medicare levy and stuff on top of that, it's 47.5%. Almost 50% of income gone on tax. Now, the average tax rate, 52% of the population, the average tax rate is 32.5%. That means 32.5%, about a third of your income goes straight towards the tax office straight off the bat. So I want you to remember that figure as well, 32.5%. So we're going to remember 31.3 and we're going to remember 32.5. Yeah, don't get me started about BlackRock and Vanguard fund managers. You'll start me ranting on something else, chat. Super is the third biggest expense. What's the compulsory superannuation contribution right now? Now, a lot of people go, oh, but my boss pays that or my company pays that. Understand that it's still part of your pay packet. It's still part of it. Now, it may come to you ultimately, maybe, if you believe that superannuation is going to still be a thing in 10 years' time in its current form. Yeah. BAS did, like, income tax and GST and land tax and death tax. Did you see that they're trying to push an inheritance tax again now? That's the next thing that's on play. Right, Melbourne's land taxes have gone up substantially. Windfall tax, vacant property tax, short-term rental tax, like, you name it, they've just kind of ramped up taxes at such a big level. It's absolutely crazy. Yeah. So the next one is superannuation. Do you know the average man retires with a balance of $270,000 inside a super? Yeah, Bass, because of Dan Andrews spending. I completely agree. The average woman has $157,000 in super in retirement. How are you going to live off that? How long is it going to last for? So, and then after this, you wind up on the pension. Who knows how much the pension is? Who knows how much the pension is? Yeah, maybe if you're living in a cave, it might last, a few years or so. The pension, I've got to remember this off the top of my head now. I think it's something like $800 a fortnight for a single person. And a couple is about $1,300, something like that. That's what the pension is. You've worked literally your entire life, 50 years of your life, to wind up supposedly to retire and live the good life. Yet this is the reality of the matter. For 77% of the population. 77%. So, and that's if you believe super is going to be there. Anyone who has been listening to any of my rants, and you won't be disappointed today if you thought there wasn't going to be a super rant. Team, I don't think super is going to be around in the same format in the next 10 years. I just don't. I reckon we'll be lucky if we make it 5 years. Adam goes, hey, I'm known for this. Yeah, can't even make 3% per annum. You know, I was looking at one of my clients' superannuation, Q Super, the government super. They on average made in the last 7 years 5.7% in their high growth fund. 5.7%. How can, like, asset prices have gone up extraordinarily high in during COVID and stuff. How can a super fund make 5.7% when the rest of the asset classes that it's actually should be invested under has gone up exponentially? Right? It doesn't make any sense. It is absolutely insane. Now, the government has been constantly, they want to get their grubby little hands in our super. I totally agree. Right, there's this constant changing a goalpost in the superannuation system. Constant changing of goalposts. Last year, they doubled the tax for superannuation from 15% to 30% for people who have balance of the $3 million or more. Now, you might be going, oh, well, it doesn't matter. They got $3 million. But what's to change it stop them from going, oh, now we're going to do it. People have 2 million, then 1 million, then $500,000. What's to change it? The government have said during that they're happy to come dip into the superannuation system during an economic crisis. The whole COVID situation was an economic crisis. They can announce an economic crisis anytime they want. Yeah, cover up failing public companies with data breaches of non-secure super funds. Yeah, exactly that. Right? Now, on top of this, their most recent announcement that the big super funds, and with the support of government, are sitting there saying that they're pushing the agenda of a default pension. Now, what a default pension means, and I've been saying this for 10 years, you can rewind to some of my recordings a decade ago, and I was talking about this. And you can look through 1,000 different recordings of my trainings talking about this. And you'll be able to see, right? Now, Amy, thanks for that, because I was wondering if Q Super can set up an SMSF and the restrictions associated to that. So this is what the default. Now, right now, you can get your superannuation as one lump sum. That's the situation when you retire. But the problem is they keep putting retirement age up. Very soon, you're going to be 85 years old, or you might be 102 before you can get your super, by which time you'll be dead, which might be part of one of their outcomes. Secondly, one big thing is that they're starting to push the agenda of a default super. What that means, default pension, what that means is that you do not get access to your superannuation in one lump sum. Instead, they roll your super into the pension system and they ration a pension to you with your own money. Now, this isn't me making this shit up, right? This isn't me with my tinfoil hat on or anything like that. This is agendas which are being pushed and you can go and read about, right? This was suggested 10 to 15 years ago right now, right, by an economist back then as a policy recommendation for the retirement system, because they knew back then that the government could not afford the aging population, which is a fact right now. Here's what I think. I think if you're looking to take control of your financial life, you should look at every single area, including your super. Because for most people I meet, they do not, they're not getting the best results. There is so much bullshit, so much fees, so much restrictions that are going on, right? It's such a major thing which is going on right now, right? And you really need to follow breadcrumbs and lift your head up and have a look at this. Super says, thanks, comrade. Jed, you're a freaking crack up, mate. That's so good. Okay, 3 figures. We're going to round this one down to 30% just for shits and giggles. We're going to round this one down to 30% just for shits and giggles. And we're going to call this 10% just for shits and giggles. Knowing that each of these figures are higher and substantially higher, especially for this, up 45%. But let me show you what the default life basically leads towards. A lot of people who do the 40-hour work week, like who here does like a 9 to 5, 40-hour style work week? Who does that? Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, 40 odd hours. Who's in that boat? Right. So that's the typical working week that we're supposed to, the second no comment of the night, Stephen. That's the typical working week that we're supposed to, you're part-time, Adam. Yeah, I run a business. I was talking to one of my other clients, Rhonda, today, and we were talking about, oh, yeah, some of you have seen me do this before. We're talking about running a business like a part-time, 9 to 5 is like a part-time. So, I'm just reading some of these comments. All right, I need to get on with this. I'm already an hour and a half in. I've got so much to cover with you guys. So 40-hour work week. All right. Now, if you do the whole I go to work and I exchange time for money type of situation, and at the end of a week or a month or a fortnight, let's just call it the end of every week, you get your paycheck delivered to your inbox, highly likely right now. You don't usually get it physically in your hand anymore, right? So you get it delivered in your inbox now. And now, as you look at that paycheck, who do you notice gets first dibs of your money? Where does it go first? Who do you notice gets first dibs at your money as you're looking at this paycheck? Where does it go first? And at what percentage? The boogeyman. Right, the tax office. And what was the percentage? We said 30% exactly. So I want you to think about it like this. If you go to work, exchange time for money, and yet 30% of your income gets taken up by tax, how many hours a week of your working life is taken by that? What's 30% of 40 hours? Right, 12 hours. So that means every hour, every minute, every second that you go to work on Monday goes straight towards the tax office. But it doesn't stop there because you're only given them 8 hours. You still owe them on Tuesday for another 4 hours. So up until midday on Tuesday, you're still working for the tax office. That's good to know, isn't it? That's exciting. Fantastic. Now, as you go and look at your paycheck, once again, your pay slip, where do you notice it goes next? Before any money hits your bank account, where does it go next out of your total pay packet? What happens next? Right, superannuation. And the percentage we said very conservatively was 10%. So if superannuation goes next, then 10% of 40 hours is another 4 hours. So what that means is that the rest of Tuesday goes towards superannuation. Now, again, you might go, well, at least that goes to me. Well, that's, yep, sure, as long as you believe that you're going to get access to all of it, how you want to use it. Now, Wednesday's a very, very special day of the week. And there's a reason they call it hump day, because you actually get some of your own money that you earn, which is really quite amazing, right? That's why they call it hump day. Now, as the money comes into your bank account, where do most people spend it first? What happens first? What do most people go, hey, I need to pay for this first? Right, a rent or mortgage. And what did we say was the percentage that it was taking up? What did we say? Yeah, it was around 35%, but the actual figure is 45.5% on average. Okay, that's the actual figure on average. That means some are more than that. Okay. Oh, my absolute pleasure, Debbie. No problems. Team, drop the link in again. Debbie, if you want to look at taking the next steps, then booking that time with my team, right? That's the next step. So anyone that really want to get involved in investing, you really want to get serious about this and change your financial life starting from this moment, booking the call. That's your next step. Doesn't cost you anything. It's absolutely risk-free, right? Worst case, you get some strategic direction. We can point you in the direction of some really cool resources. Now, so even if we said that that was 30%, what that's going to mean is that you're going to be working for the bank because you're paying your mortgage all day on Wednesday for 8 hours. But remember, you're on 30%, so it's 12 hours. So that means that all day on Thursday, on Thursday, you're still working for the bank. And if you're renting, especially nowadays, it's just the same. Now, if we were actually talking about what the actual figures are, it's 45% right now. So if 10% is 4 hours, 40% is 16 hours, so probably about 18 hours. So the rest of Thursday would be gone as well, right? It would be looking like this, just working for the bank. Who's noticed that you haven't eaten yet? Who's noticed you haven't bought any groceries? You haven't paid any phone bills? You haven't paid any electricity bills? You haven't paid any internet bills? You haven't paid any credit cards? You haven't paid for any car loans? You haven't paid for any credit cards? You haven't paid for any kids stuff? Who's got termites? Kids, termites, right? Right, you haven't paid for any of that. You haven't paid for any entertainment. You haven't paid for eating out. You haven't paid for the movies. You haven't paid for your Netflix subscription. You haven't paid for any of the rest of this. Yet already by Thursday, this is what's happened. What that means is that you have half of Thursday and Friday to live off. And you wonder why people are struggling. And so what happens is that people run out of money before they run out of month. So they go and get some credit cards and they rack some stuff up on this. Because they've run out of money and built up some more debt, they go back to Monday again. And we start the whole process again. Now we go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, day in, day out, week in, week out, month in, month out, year in, day out, and over and over and over and over again as decades pass, and you go from 20 to 30 to 40 to 50 to 60, thinking you're going to retire at 65 years old, realize you can't afford it, and you wind up with the pension, and you live a life of financial slavery until you die. This is the default life. This is what happens when you just follow the pathway. Yeah, the Aussie dream. Yeah. The hamster wheel. Who has felt like they've been on a hamster wheel or on the treadmill of life, just going around and around and around and around and around and around? Yet they didn't follow topology. Round and round and not knowing how to get off. Who's had that experience in their life before? Who's experiencing that right now? And seeing this might just be a little bit painful, or scary, or sobering, as someone put it here, or confronting. The question comes down to, what are you going to do about it? 77% of retirees receive some form of the pension in retirement. For a single person, it's $843. For a couple, it's $635 each. So combined is about $1,300. Right? That's what it is. And they're retired and supposed to live the good life. Again, if you don't get your money working hard for you, you're going to spend your entire life working hard for your money. And this is why you've got to be ready to face punch the status quo, right? How you've been taught to do things in life, you've got to give it a massive, massive uppercut in the head and stop playing the same games of life that you've always been playing in, because your system determines your success. The question is, how is your system currently working? That's the question you've really got to ask yourself. And if you really want the answer, just look at your current financial situation and look how much time and look how much freedom and look how much choices you have and how many passive income streams you've got coming in right now. And then you're going to understand how your system is working. Now, some of you are in the process of changing your system. Some of you are working with me and you're implementing the system and you're seeing your financial direction change before your eyes. Some of you have to take a long, hard look at what you're doing right now and ask yourself if it's okay where you are right now. Because your system has to change. Like, Bass, thank you for your honesty, bro. Like, who here knows that their system has to change? That they've got a broken system and they've got to start doing something else? Who here knows that already? Yeah, Jet, dude, I'm so pumped to be working with you again, man. Yeah, Belinda, yeah. So let's get into the system upgrade, the system of investing. We're going to start with prepare. So we've got to get out of this random process, and instead we have to move into this process of how we go and instead of buying and hoping and praying when it comes to our investing and our wealth creation, we've got to start getting very, very intentional and very, very targeted in our process, right? This is what investors do. We do not gamble. We invest strategically. Now, what you have to understand is that wealth is a business and you need a plan. Without a plan, then you wind up having no direction, you got no structure, and basically you got no hope, and you're just going out and giving it a crack. But the freedom is in the framework, right? When you can operate with a proven model, a proven system, a proven framework, you can actually wind up delivering predictable results into your life. Because to me, none of this is luck, right? Wealth isn't luck. People who create financial freedom, the thousands of investors I've helped create freedom in their life, it's not done by luck, right? It's done because they followed a system. And after 20 years of doing this, I do know this system. I trialed and errored 1,000 things for you so you don't have to do it yourself. Adam, I appreciate that, man. Massive changes in Lowe's in the last few months. I actually got through Xmas in the positive. I owe it to what I've learned from the course. Very grateful for the opportunity. Adam, I appreciate you. Thank you. So this is what the system is that we're talking about. So step one of when we talk about these systems is that we've actually got to set our destination. Now, just to let you know where we're starting at, we're starting right here. Okay, I'm going to touch on some of these in just a small amount of detail. I'm going to dive into some of these a little bit deeper. Now, this is your investment assessment. So in the investment assessment, there's two core pillars that we want to set. Pillar number one is all about knowing your destination. So you've got to start with the end in mind, because it's all well and good saying, hey, I want to create financial freedom, but what does financial freedom actually mean to you? That's the real question you want to be asking yourself. What does financial freedom actually mean to you? Now, I don't know why this is doing weird things, but that's okay. All right, we got it. So this is what I call your financial freedom figure, or your FFF for short. Now let's change that. It's all a bit big. This is your FFF. Now, there are actually 4 different levels of financial freedom that you can create in your life. 4 different levels. The first level is you're covering your needs. What this basically means, and fundamentally what that's about, is about getting your time back. So the question you want to be asking yourself is, how much income do you need to be earning from your investment portfolio to cover your basic living expenses? I'm not talking about driving Lamborghinis or going first class travel or anything like that. I'm just talking about handling basic living expenses so you can get your time back. What is that figure for you? Who wants to throw their figure into the chat? Like, what do you reckon your figure is? How much income do you be earning per week that would just cover your basic living expenses, which would fundamentally get your time back? What's your figure? Right, Sandy's at $2,000 per week. Who else? 1,700, yes. Who else? 2,400, Amy. Great. 2,500. 1,150. Cool, nice and specific. I like it. So 2K, if we have no mortgage, yeah. So 2K per week is around about your $100,000. Not quite. Around about $100,000. Yeah, Amy, we'll get to freedom, right? So this is living on, okay? So this is covering basic living expenses. So this just get your time back. You no longer have to turn up to work just to cover your basic living expenses, okay? So if you had 2K coming in per week, it's around about $100,000. So that's a 100K plan that I'm talking about. Now, some people it's 100K, some people it's 50K, some people it's 60. There's no right or wrong answers. What's right or wrong for you? But just know that changes your investment strategy. This is why there's no such thing as a one size fits all approach. It's got to be personalized to you and your situation. Now, I'm going to do this next one in a moment just because this has dropped off the radar. I don't know why. So the next one is your wants. So this is your zone of choice. Now at this level, right, this is where you're adding some more choices into your life. You've covered basic living expenses. Now you want to add some more choice. Now maybe that is that you want to go on holiday every single year and you know that is going to cost an extra kind of 15 grand. Maybe you want to send your kids to a private school as opposed to a public school, and maybe that's going to cost an extra 20 grand. Maybe it's X, maybe it's Y, whatever it is, where it's going to be, right? This is just your zone of choice. And then you go, well, how much is this going to cost? Well, maybe overall, this is actually going to cost me another $50,000 a year. And so you might go, okay, rather than 100, this might be, you know what, I'm just going to do the per annum figure. It's just easy to work out. So rather than 100K, maybe this is $150,000. And so the next question you need to be asking yourself is, okay, well, what do I need in order to be able to create that? Now, a lot of people are always asked, well, how many properties do I need to do that? Or how many of this do I need to do? Now, that's a great question, but I really want to let you know that it's the wrong question. It does not matter how many properties you own or how much crypto you have. It does not matter. What matters is what's the return that it's bringing for you in your life that's going to give you some choices. I know people that own 20 or 30 properties that still are not financially free. And I go, what's the bloody point? Right? When I know others who own 3 properties and they're fully financially free. It's not about how many properties you own or how many assets you own. What's the outcome that is giving for you in your life? Because that's the true measure of wealth. So if we wanted to go and generate 150K of passive income, what we want to understand is what's the net value of investment assets that you need to own that's renting at yielding a reasonable rate of return that's going to give you that 150K. Now, reasonable rate of return in investing across a portfolio is around 5%. Now, the reason I say that is because, you know what, I can get strategies at 15 to 20% within a heartbeat, right? But, you know, then some blue chip properties might only be 2 to 3%. And so 5% is pretty conservative type of figure overall. So what this is going to do is that if you needed to get 150,000 and on average you're going to be earning 5%, then what you're going to need is a $3 million portfolio that you own outright, yielding on average 5% is going to give you 150 grand. How you work that out is you simply take your per annum figure, you divide it by 5%, press the equals button, that's going to give you your result. So if you put in a figure for your first one, like your level of wants, like a whole bunch of you, somebody put 1150 in, 1700 in, do the math. What's your financial freedom? What portfolio value do you need renting at an average 5% is going to give you your figure, whatever figure that was. When you do this, you're now going to have a tangible number that you can actually grow a portfolio towards rather than just kind of buying some stuff and hoping it's going to wind up working out in the right place because you haven't set a clear direction. Your next level is your dreams. And this is a zone of lifestyle. So all the dreams, you know, just where you go, hey, first class travel, or, you know, I want to be able to give this much. I want to drive this. I want to live here. I want to do that. I want choices. I want to have this level of impact, whatever it is for you. Have your dream lifestyle, whatever that is. Maybe you do the sums and it works out to be 300 grand per year. And then finally, what's the legacy that you want to leave? The legacy you may want to leave for your kids, for your family, to the planet, to a cause you believe in. What is that legacy going to look like? What is the wealth that you are going to build, which is going to outlive you? Amy, me too. Best part, right? Best part. What is the wealth that you are going to build that's going to outlive you? Then all of a sudden, you've got 4 different levels of financial freedom that you can actually start building a strategy towards. And we focus on getting this because as soon as you get your time back, it frees up your most valuable asset. Who here knows that if you had more time in your back pocket, you could grow wealth a lot faster? This is why we take time back as one of those fundamental elements, because then you can go grow your wealth a lot faster. So now we've got our North Star in place. And so that's our North Star that we know, that we understand, that no matter what is going on, that we constantly realign ourselves back to that. Yeah, Sandy, can't wait till I can have freely give to others without having to question if I can afford it. Yeah, I think that every single one of you should make as much money as you possibly can. Handle home base being your life. Live an incredible quality of life. Experience everything in life. And then give a whole bunch more away to leave the planet in a better place. It's one of the secret reasons why I do what I do, is because so many good people like you listening in right now, that have so much to give to the planet, yet so many of you are stuck treading water financially, unable to lift your head above the waterline at a significant level and climb out of the water itself, and have the resources and tools in your hand that actually want to leave the world in a better place and do some good with it. That's where the resources should be. That's my secret mission, why I do what I do. So I appreciate you guys all being here right now, and I appreciate you voicing that at the moment, because that means a lot to me. It really does. So the second pillar we then set is our current situation. So we know our destination. We now come back to the beginning of our current situation. And I call this your CFS, right? And current financial situation. And your CFS is 13 key numbers. Now, I'm not going to go through this in any detail. This could take me off track for a long way. Just what you need to understand. Spend way too much. So mindset, right? Thanks, Dr. Moore. Listen more. You drive home how important having a mentor is. Yeah, look, I wouldn't be where I am or who I am right now if I didn't have the mentors I've had in my life. From property mentors to crypto to shares to business mentors to personal mentors to relationships to spiritual teachers. I would not be who I am or where I am in my life without the people I've had to guide me along the way. You know, there's 2 ways to learn in life. One is trial and error. Great way to learn. You definitely learn some stuff. The problem is the error part of that equation. And making mistakes in investing and things like that is not a cheap experience. It costs a lot of time. It costs a lot of energy. It costs a lot of money, but it also costs a lot of opportunity. The other way you learn in life is through modeling success. Find someone who's gotten the result that you want in your life, who you align with. Find out how they did it and copy them. In school, we're taught that copying is cheating. In life, it's one of your pathways to success. That's what it really is all about. Adam, I see your P plate are filling up, so sometimes I pay for the fuel. That's so good, Adam. I remember how hard it was when I was young. The other week, someone actually did it for my daughter. It made me smile. I mean, that's beautiful. Like, what an impact those little things can have. Like, so incredible. It really is. Okay, number 2. So once we get clear in our current situation by understanding what these 13 key investment numbers are, right? And so these are like financial stuff. This is potential stuff, like knowing your serviceability, knowing your buying power, knowing your purchasing power, savings capacity, investment income. These are the 13 key investment numbers. I'm not going into them. It'll take me well off track a long way. We then have to allocate our assets. So one of the things we've got to focus on doing is that we've got to keep ourselves safe while we're building our wealth. And so this is why the asset allocation matrix is absolutely critical. Now, there's 5 different places where you're going to be splitting up your capital. One is into your personal buffer, which is your sleep at night factor. So you can put your head on the pillow at night and sleep easy, okay? Now, that might be a gut feeling exercise where you go, if I just had 5 grand or 10 grand or 20 grand in a bank account or 50 grand or whatever it is for you, you just go, I can breathe and I'm good. Right? Other people, it might be like 3 months of living expenses set aside. And you know that if you had 3 months of living expenses set aside, you've got some time up your sleeve to sort your shit out, right? If something goes wrong. So you have a personal buffer in place. You then have an investment buffer in place, and this is your portfolio slush fund. One of my core philosophies is that your personal life is a business, your investment portfolio is a business, and we have to keep these 2 businesses nice and separate. Because the last thing I want is you having to dip in your back pocket every week just to cover the cost of your mortgages and things like that, your investment portfolio. You allocate money aside for stuff that you know might be coming up in the next kind of 12 to 18 months, so you're not stuck with any surprise along the way or scrambling. I'm a massive believer that you'll never out-earn yourself, right? Let me say that again. You'll never out-earn yourself. So I've always invested some money into my growth, whether that's raising my earning potential, whether that's courses for my personal self, whether it's spirituality, or maybe it's getting the financial education that you know you need to have, right? It's for skills, education, opportunity, and your final buffer is your investment capital. This is the amount that you have left over you're going to commit to growing your investment portfolio with. So what this has gone and done is that there's no surprises. You've set aside all your money in every single little place so that you are ordered, you're structured, and you know what is going on. Yeah, upskilling is king. I totally agree with you, Adam. The third thing you've got to focus on doing is you've got to set your strategy. Now, when we're talking about setting a strategy, it's not about the asset itself. What it truly is about is what is the purpose the asset is there to serve in the portfolio, okay? It's not about the asset, whether it's property or shares or crypto or anything like that. What it is about is what is the purpose that asset is there to serve in your portfolio. Now, there's three strategies that every investor is going to need within their portfolio. And honestly, this is one of the most important things that I can teach you. Really is, right? This is one of the most important things. Now, as an investor, every investor needs three different strategies running in their portfolio. If you are missing one of these strategies, then you are truly limiting your growth and you're actually potentially going to wind up getting stuck, right? That's the consequence of not having all three of these in place. Now, when I talk about these, I'm going to use property as an example, but just understand, I'm only using it as an example. It could apply to crypto, it could apply to shares, it could apply to business. It doesn't matter. It's about the purpose. It's not about the asset itself. Right. This just sunk in, the purpose. And again, I got asked some questions for some of my clients who are already clients. Oh, would I learn all this in the Invest program anyway? The answer is yes. I'd give you all of this and 1,000 times more, right? But here is the thing. For you guys to continually show up, and let me know if you've had this experience, for those of you that have showed up time and time again, is that all it takes is hearing the same bit of information. Who's heard the same bit of information? Well, you've known I've said it before. You've listened to me say it before. You might have listened to me say it 2, 3, 4, 5 times even. And then all it takes is to hearing it one more time, said in a certain way or done in a certain way or said at a certain time. And all of a sudden, it's dropped in. Who's had that experience? Especially if you've attended multiple of these or you've been here. Yeah, okay, cool. Right, because understand that every time you hear the same bit of information, you are a different person than the previous time you heard it. You've learned some more stuff. You've created a different level of awareness. You're learning in a different way. You've created a base level of knowledge. And then all it takes, I've heard this about 10 times, and boom, the purpose clicked, right? All it takes is to hear it another time in another way. And all of a sudden it stops being knowledge, it becomes knowing. And then it's integrated. And it's a completely different level of knowledge now. You can actually integrate it. It becomes a part of you, right? So Adam, thank you. Appreciate that. So the first strategy is what's called the buy and gold strategy. Now, from a property standpoint, these are those better quality properties in better quality locations. People always want to live there. People always want to rent them out. And because these properties, you start to ask how it's relevant to me specifically too. Belinda, that's so true, because then you start applying it to your own situation because you know what it is, right? Then you start applying it. It's a completely different level of knowing. You know, here's a metaphor. I've played judo for most of my life. I started playing judo at the age of 5. It's been a major part of my life. I had the privilege to play for Australia. Nico gets this, you know, he's got black belts in many different things. And I earned my black belt when I was about 17 years old in judo. In Australia, when you earn your black belt, you start off as white belt, then you go to yellow belt, and then you go to orange belt, and then you go to green, and then you go to blue, and then you go to brown, and then you go to black. And then there's 7 different types of black belts. Now, I played judo in Japan a number of times. And what was interesting in Japan is that they didn't have yellow or orange or green or blue or brown or black. They had white, and then they had black. Perhaps they didn't need the, how do I put it, the coddling that Aussies might need. Right? Oh, the 8th place trophy or something like that, you know, that type of thing. Their philosophy is that you get black belt. When you get a black belt, you're actually ready to learn. Oh, interesting. Oh, so black belt is when you're ready to actually learn. Because once you achieve your black belt, once you earn your black belt, you know the skills, you know the techniques, you know how to apply them in certain situations, right? And then you've got this base level of knowledge, right? And then finally, you're ready to learn because you've learned the techniques. When I understood that, it changed my way of thinking about everything. So when you get to this point, when you start to learn some of these new languages and things like that, all of a sudden, when it drops from being knowledge to knowing, all of a sudden, you're now really ready to learn because you can actually start to apply it to your situation. So in a prop world of property, these are those better quality assets in better quality locations. People always want to live there. People always want to rent it out. These properties tend to be more desirable areas. And because they're in more desirable areas, they tend to outperform the marketplace in terms of capital growth, which is where you create your real wealth from in real estate and where you create your real wealth from in investing. Now, there's a challenge if you only have this strategy. The challenge number one of this strategy is that because these properties in better quality locations and better areas and better properties, the cost of these properties tend to be a heck of a lot higher. The second challenge is that your yield, when compared to the value of these properties, can often be quite a lot lower. You might only be getting a gross rental yield of 2.5 to 3.5%, for example, on these properties. And if you've got a high mortgage on this, then what that means is you're going to be negatively geared and you're going to wind up bleeding money. Now, just to be really, really clear, I don't have a problem with a negatively geared property. Some of my best property deals being negatively geared because they made me hundreds of thousands of dollars in capital growth. What I do have a problem with, however, is a negatively geared portfolio. Can everyone understand the difference? It's not about the individual asset. It's about how every asset fits into the overall portfolio construct. It's about the system. Every asset is just a cog in the system. This is why we need to have a strategy number 2, which is what's called the paycheck strategy. Now, the primary purpose of your buy and gold strategy is all about creating capital growth. The primary purpose behind your paycheck strategy is all around creating cash flow. Now, when it comes time to creating cash flow, how most people do this is just from their job. The problem with it just being from their job, if your health of your portfolio is only based on how much money you earn from your job, then you're going to wind up being a slave to money for the rest of your life. Your portfolio will always be limited. If your portfolio is based on how much income from your job, it's always going to be limited. If your only income for your life is based on your job, then you wind up being a slave to money for the rest of your life, and life's about so much more than working to pay the bills. This is why we need to add more and more income streams into the portfolio to create a consistent level of income to support the continued accumulation of these better quality assets over here. Because if your outcome was to earn $100,000 per annum, meaning that you needed a $2 million net portfolio, then you want to own those assets which are earning that consistent income stream that you can rely upon to fund the lifestyle that you want in better quality assets, which create a sustainable income stream, right? Hopefully everyone caught my drift around that. So You need more income coming in to make sure your portfolio is always positive cash flow from word go, and it's putting money in your back pocket and rather than taking money out of your back pocket. You need more cash flow coming in to support your service with the bank, so you're not going to get stuck because the lending system isn't set up, designed in a way to help you go and build get 5 or 10 properties anymore. Most people will be lucky if they get one investment property in their entire life, if they're lucky, and won't be able to move forward. Maybe 2 if they're lucky. You need cash flow coming in to pay down debt in the portfolio, and you need cash flow coming in to build up more capital for more deposits and costs for more deals, so you can continue moving forward and accumulate more assets and income streams. The third strategy that you need is what's called the momentum strategy. Now, from a property standpoint, a momentum strategy is not the buying gold properties you want to hold forever and a day, but they're there to serve a purpose in the portfolio. So you might buy this property at a discount, you might renovate, you might subdivide, you might develop, you might buy it off the plan, you might construct it. You might just buy it at a good growth location. I couldn't care less how you buy it. What I care about is the result you're going to create. So you might hold that property for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, depending on your plan and your strategy. And then you trade it back to the marketplace to go and turn over a chunk of profit. And you use that chunk of profit to go and deleverage your portfolio. Here's what I mean by that. At some point in time, especially as you're growing an investment portfolio, you wind up taking on a high level of debt in the portfolio. Now, if your only strategy for getting rid of that debt was paying principal interest over 30-odd years, that's a really, really slow and quite honestly stupid strategy. It's a strategy that works for the bank. It doesn't work for you. What you should be looking at doing is looking at directing your cash that you earn from here and your profit you earn from here to be able to pay down the debt in massive chunks at a time on these assets you want to hold for the long term, including your own home. So imagine if you turned over a deal and you made $200K in profit in that deal, and you wound up deciding, okay, well, I'm going to bash down the debt on this asset. How much faster are you, if you're going to create a consistent profit train, are you going to eliminate the debt on that deal rather than trying to pay P&I over 30-odd years? Much more rapid way to eliminate debt. Again, which rules of the money game you're playing by? If you're playing by the bank's rules, then that leads to a very predictable type of outcome. Or you might take this 200K and you might buy another one of these assets over here, and you use that money to go and put down a bigger deposit on another deal. Because your deposit is bigger, it means your debt is lower. Because your debt is lower, it means your income is higher. Because your income is higher, your servicing with the banks go up. And your purchasing power increases, right? The ripple effect. Or you might decide to go and capitalize it into some of these other strategies there to grow your capital base so you can create an even bigger capital position, turning over chunks of equity on a regular basis. I spoke to you about Tony earlier, who's doing $200,000 a year profit train. What that means is that he's got 200 grand a year coming in over here, and he's got 200K coming in from strategies over here to turn over chunks of profit. Right? He's created a profit train that's just time and time and time again, turning over chunks of profit that's going to help eliminate debt and build up his asset position further and further and further. Now, this may not be property. It could be crypto. It could be shares. It could be lending strategies. It could be business investment. I don't care what it is. I do all of it in my portfolio, and I teach all my investors to do that in their portfolio as well. Okay, these are the 3 strategies that you need, that every investor needs in their portfolio. Now, what did you learn out of that? What did you take out of that whole little 3 strategy thing? Apart from the fact you need 3 strategies. What stuck out to you? Yeah. Some of you identified some of your own portfolio and you went, oh crap, all of mine are in one area, for example, I'm missing the others. Yeah, Jay insane. So yeah, you need a system. That's what it is. It's a system. Everything is just a cog in a wheel. That's all it is. Stephen, servicing is important. Exactly right. Right, this is what you need in order to be able to kind of grow a successful investment portfolio. Most people just try and do like one of this, and they're missing most of the game, and they wonder why they can't move forward. Right? I see this mistake happen all the time with investors. This is why we need to layer different strategies at different times of your portfolio so you can keep moving forward and not get stuck. Peter and Julie did this, right? I spoke to you about these guys earlier. In their early 20s, they wound up doing 6 properties, right? Within the space of 8 years by applying each of these 3 different strategies. Yeah, Adam, the purpose and how I can use it with what I have going on. The brain clocks are finally moving. I love it, right? This is what these guys did in their early 20s. 150 grand in gross income in the space of 8 years. Sanders, I spoke about Sanders. He did the exact same thing. If he only focused on one strategy, he was never going to create the outcome that he created in such a short period of time and expanded to 17 properties now. The 3 strategies, it's been proven to work over and over again. It's how I've created financial freedom and how I've retired, a couple of times. I say I've retired a couple of times because I retired and then I got bored and then I got back to work. And then I go, oh, you know what? I had enough now. I retired again. And I got bored and got back to work. Here's the point. This isn't about retirement. This is about setting up a life you don't have to retire from. It's all about choice, right? I love what I do, right? I do this because I want to do it, not because I have to. Nothing's worse than having to do something. You want to do something that you want to do. Now, the second part of the equation is all about how you prepare. So what we just went through is certain elements associated to each of these 3. Now, they go a lot deeper, and there's so much more depth to each and every one of these. There's actually 7 trainings associated just to this, right? Where I unpack my entire process of building strategy and laying it out step by step by step so you can actually just do what I tell you to do and just follow the process and build your own strategy and make sure you don't miss anything along the way, right? So I've just touched on some of the key elements associated to each of these. There's so much more depth associated to them. Now, once you've got a strategy in place, you're actually now ready to build a portfolio. Unfortunately, most people try and jump straight to, oh, let's go and buy a property, right? Or buy some shares or buy whatever it is. And they jump to that. But it's that whole iceberg metaphor, right? The asset is just the tip of the iceberg. Underneath here is your financial foundations. It's having a personal finance system in place. So every dollar that comes into your life has a plan, has a purpose. It's building your financial and investment IQ. It's building your team, your peer group, your strategies, your structures. This is all the stuff that happens beneath the surface to you getting you to a point where you're actually ready to buy an asset. If you focus just on this, you're literally missing most of the game. So once you've got a strategy in place, you're now ready to build a portfolio. I didn't say you're ready to build assets. You're ready to build a portfolio. There's 3 different aspects to building a portfolio. Now, team, I am aware it is currently, 8:07 over in Queensland, 9:07 in New South Wales and Victoria. Okay, so team, I'm probably half an hour away, I reckon. Is everyone good? Who's learning some stuff, having a good time? Who's good? All right, awesome. Stay with me, team. I've got a bunch more to cover with you guys. And yeah, I'm a teacher. I can't help myself. I want to give you guys everything, right? So the 3 different pathways we need to follow here. So this is all about structure. We now want to develop the structure behind the portfolio. We've got the plan, we've got the strategy. Now we want to put the backbone behind the portfolio. That's what we want to do now. So this is where we're going to apply our market readiness method. Right. We then want to level up with leverage so you stop being the bottleneck to your own portfolio. And then we want to apply the portfolio protection protocol, right? How do you protect you, protect your family, and protect your portfolio, right? So that's what we build sustainable wealth. Now, the question you've got to ask yourself first and foremost is, are your ducks in a row when it comes to your money, when it comes to your wealth building, when it comes to your investing and your finances? Are your ducks in a row? Because if they're not, what's going to happen is that you often are going to wind up being the bottleneck to your own success, because you're just not set up, you're just not structured the right way to be able to go and move forward and do what you need to do. And you wind up being stuck going nowhere fast, right? Now, when I talk about preparing for the wealth, when I talk about the market readiness method, what I'm talking about is, how do you prepare for the wealth to come? Because here's the thing. The question you got to ask yourself is, what comes first? Is it the $1 million in a bank account, or becoming a millionaire as a person? And when I talk about becoming a millionaire as a person, I'm talking about turning on what I call your millionaire mode and how you think, and how you start operating as a millionaire to begin with, and how you actually look after your money, take care of your wealth, grow your wealth, and grow your finances. So there's 4 different levels of readiness you got to think about. Number 1 is your mind readiness. I'm trying to find white. Here we go. So what this is all about is turning on what I call your millionaire mode. And the process I help people with this is unpacking what's called your money lens, to really unpack all of your belief systems and things which do not serve you in your portfolio anymore, right? Do not serve you in terms of the next phase you need to go. Because what a lot of people do, and let me know if you've done this yourself, have you ever made a decision that you go, hey, I want to go and start investing, I want to start growing my wealth, I want to take control of my finances, and you want to do all these things, and then you found that you sabotaged yourself along the way? Who's found that they've done that along the way at some point? Or anything in life where you've gone, hey, I want to do this new thing, I want to set this new standard, I want to do this, and then you wind up sabotaging yourself. Who's done this before in their life? And you take 1 step forward and take 2 steps back, and you do what I call the snakes and ladders of investing, right? Often this is because a lot of people, you don't have your mind in the space that it needs to be in order to be able to follow through and do what you need to do. So we've got to become turn on what I call a millionaire mode. The second thing that we've got to focus on doing is that we've got to go and get ourselves team ready, right? Because if everything is only based on how much time you have, your current level of knowledge, your current level of energy, and your current level of money that you have, then your results are always going to be limited. So when we can apply the principle of leverage and tap into resources well beyond our own, we stop being limited, we stop being the bottleneck to our own success. And this is where we go get ourselves team ready, and we go and build our 6-star team. The third element is all about getting structure ready. So how are you going to set yourself up, and how are you going to structure yourself in order to be able to grow your wealth? Because there's multiple different levels of structuring, personal structuring and public structuring, right? The vehicles are going to build your wealth in, how you keep yourself safe, how you keep yourself sovereign, right? There's a unpacking of that is a big, big process. And then there's finance. And this is the portfolio protection protocol is what that's called. And then there's finance. And this is getting yourself finance ready. Because if you're not ready to go and execute on good deals, then you're just going to have to sit there and you just got to wave them goodbye as they continually go to someone who is ready to go and access them. And this is all about getting your lending sorted, and this is about getting yourself liquid, and this is about getting yourself structured. So these are the 4 different levels of readiness. Now, I'm going to talk to you about your 6-star team. So this is because you're only going to get world-class advice from world-class team members, right? That's the reality of the matter. How you choose your team is vitally important. To me, qualifications do not mean qualified to help you grow your wealth. I couldn't care less about how many degrees or pieces of paper people have. Could not care less. The reason I'm very, very, how do I put it? I know, skeptical about this, about just pieces of paper, is because when I used to teach people how to build, how to trade options, I had to become a qualified financial advisor. Now, when I became a qualified financial advisor, it took me 2 weekends to do it. and I did my test by distance education, open book exam. 2 weekends via distance education, open book exam, where I literally copied and pasted the answers, and I became a qualified financial advisor. It was the biggest load of bullshit I have ever experienced, and I lost all faith in the industry. Now, that's not to say there's not some good financial advisors out there, because there are, 100% there are. But there are also some terrible ones. And I want to tell you, a lot of financial advisors don't invest themselves. They're not financially free. They don't walk their talk, and they don't know how. Reason I know, A, I've spoken to a shitload of them. B, I've got a bunch of them my clients, and I'm helping them build portfolios. Another reason I don't care less about people's qualifications is I became a real estate agent when I was 20 years old after I bought my first property deal, before I got involved in becoming a, Stephen, let me talk about that. I was a personal trainer too. Yeah. When I was a personal trainer, there were people, massively overweight people who didn't actually train. Personal trainers who nicked out between sessions to go smoke out in the corridor when I used to work at the Fitness First gym in North Quay in Brisbane. Right. So the insanity that I saw was crazy. And again, I lost all faith. I became a real estate agent. As I became a real estate agent and did that in a very short period of time, like a weekend or something like that, I didn't learn anything about property. I didn't learn anything about due diligence. I didn't learn anything about investing. I didn't learn anything about finding deals. I didn't learn anything. All I learned was how to fill out contracts. And then I went to work at Harcourts in Runaway Bay in the Gold Coast. And out of 17 agents in the office, there was only one other person who had an investment property. And I was 20 years old. The only other agent out of 17, there's two of us that had investment properties. And that was it. And all of a sudden I realized this is the wrong place for me. And then when I annoyed my mentor, literally called the guy twice a week and annoyed the shit out of him until he made a job for me when I was 20 years old to get involved in the property world. And that's how I got started. As I began speaking about property, I had to become a mortgage broker. And then I realized that mortgage brokers don't learn anything about actually structuring loans. All they learn about is filling out loan documents and fitting in with compliance. Who gets what I'm talking about? I couldn't care less how many qualifications people have. I really couldn't care less. What I care about is results. What have you achieved in your life, and how have you helped other people achieve the same things? That's what I care about. Now, so who you choose to be a part of your team is critical. So the 6 key people, types of areas you're going to need team in. You're going to need team for strategy. You're going to need team for finance. You're going to need team for deal flow, getting you access to deals. You're going to need team to be able to execute on the deals. You're going to need team for help you protect yourself. You're going to need team for future planning. Yeah, it's crazy, Adam, seriously. And so these are people that you're going to need. Now, in the corner of strategy and finance, now where I sit with my investors is I'm here, I'm a wealth strategist. I zoom out and we focus on seeing the bigger picture. And then we bring in the different team members to assemble our team to go and execute. But we focus on seeing the bigger picture, and then we effectively become stewards of wealth, right? Rather than being in the trenches all the time, we zoom out, get the bigger picture going. Then we build our team to go and execute on the vision. Now, we then need a tactical coach. And this might be a specific expert in, I don't know, options trading, or pools and staking in crypto, or property, or business specifically, whatever it might be. Now, because I've got a lot of experience and taught and traded in a lot of these areas and achieved results in these areas, I wound up acting as a tactical coach in various aspects as well. But there are things that I'm not an expert in. I don't class myself as an expert in gold and silver accumulation or precious metals. I know a bit about them, but I'm not the guy that's going to help you build a full numismatic portfolio, or for example. Okay? Now, in the corner between finance and deal flow, you're going to need a finance strategist. And especially when you are someone who wants to build a multi-million-dollar property portfolio, I can tell you right now, the property is not the most important thing. It's not the most important thing. The most important thing is having a strategy around your finance, because I can tell you right now, this is where most people are going to get stuck. So you've got to have a finance strategist, and most finance people, all they think about is how am I going to get you the lowest interest rate? And if that's all they're thinking about, like that's the fourth priority on my list in terms of how you get the right lending. Between deal flow and execution is all about acquisitions. And when we talk about acquisitions, this is about making sure you've got a deal flow team who's going to help you find and source off-market deals and going to do the majority of their due diligence for you and be able to kind of bring those off-market deals onto the table, ready for you to cherry pick what you want, right? The reason that I have such good deal flow, because I've been in this for 20 odd years and I've got incredible networks and incredible reputation with a lot of people that access deals. And so they want to bring them to meet myself and my investors, because my investors are educated and my investors want to actually take action and get some things done. And so I just get this constant flow of incredible deals. In between execution and protection is your solicitor. So again, you want to have a solicitor that actually actively invests. The number of solicitors that people have gone to and where they literally go, oh no, that sounds too risky. And then you ask them, well, why does it sound too risky? Oh, because the returns are too high. Well, why else? Oh no, it's just the returns are too high. Because they literally don't know what they're talking about. I was trying to find a solicitor for a gold deal that's going on. And I spoke to 3 solicitors and none of them go, they'll just go, oh, Todd, sorry, I can't help you. I don't know anything about it. Like joint venture strategies, lending strategies. Oh, hey, can you go through this contract? Oh, sure, I can. Can you tell me if what risks are involved? Oh, no, look, I can read the contract and tell you what the clauses mean, but I wouldn't do it. Oh, why not? Oh, the returns are too high. It must be risky. Like use your brain a little bit, you know, but most of them aren't experienced. And so their default is to go no, right? Because that protects their ass as opposed to helping you build wealth. And that's one of the biggest things with a lot of people. Accountants. Who do accountants work for primarily? Who do accountants work for? Work for the ATO. That's the reality of the matter. They're not working for you. They're working for the ATO. So their job is just to fit within the framework of the ATO, and that's all their job is. Not to help you pay as little tax as possible and structure yourself as you're as efficient as you possibly can. So same with solicitors. Their whole job, their whole version of the world is is all about risk and mitigation. But it really is, that's their blinks of the world. So they can tell you how everything couldn't work, but they can't tell you how something could work. And they can't tell you if that's a reasonable risk to take based on the potential returns you're going to get. Because a lot of them are not investors themselves. Between protection and future planning is your accountant. And between your future planning and your strategy is your financial planner. These are the core team members that you've got to assemble as part of your team, your core 6-star wealth team. You may need more, but these are the core ones that you're going to need. Let's move on to protect. What a lot of people make the mistake of doing, and this is the mistake that I made in my early 20s, is that I built a lot of wealth in a short period of time, but I did not protect myself and I did not protect my portfolio, and I wound up building a house of cards. It looked really pretty and amazing on the outside, but all it took was for the wind to effectively blow in the wrong direction. And this house of cards came tumbling down in a very short period of time. And I lost almost everything and had to start all over again. It was a very humbling experience, but a very important experience for me. This is why all of you, my investors, there's a reason I harp on about building deep and strong foundations. You know, stop looking for the sexy unless you've handled the basics. Stop looking for shiny objects. Focus on driving those roots into the ground as deep and strong, because the more you do that, the taller your financial fortress you're going to build is going to be able to go. So don't build a house of cards portfolio, because sustainable wealth is about how much you keep, right? Not about how much you make. Now, how we focus on doing that is in this portfolio protection protocol. And this is where you want to construct your financial fortress. Now, there's actually an overarching, what you may learn from me is that I'm very big on models, very, very big on models. And these are systems and ways of thinking that I've condensed into simplified pathways for you to literally just follow. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel. I've done the hard work for you. All you need to do is follow the process, and I know you're going to get the result, right? Because it's a science. All you have to do is follow the process. So in a financial fortress, our entire outcome is to be in control, to be strategic, and be sustainable. And this is more important than ever with all the stuff which is going on in the world right now, right? From central bank digital currencies to director IDs, to digital identities, to the systematic creep on our privacies and our liberties on a regular basis, especially during the whole COVID situation and stuff that's going on there, right? Through the tax office changing the rules all the time, government changing the rules in terms of superannuation, right? There's a systematic creep on your liberties which is going on. And you actually have to get yourself more in control and be in control of your financial future once and for all. So there's three aspects to this. I'm not going to go through this in detail. Again, this is an entire training, right? In this, you have to go and get the right ownership structures in place. As you get the right ownership structures in place, you then have to install your safety mechanisms. Along with your safety mechanisms, then you have to install your succession process, right? Now, what this is all about with this, this ownership is that you have to understand where you're going to be holding these, your investment assets. Is it going to be in your personal name, or is it going to be in a type of structure? Okay, now there's no right or wrong. It's what's right or wrong for your situation. Okay, I can't stand blanket rules when it comes to investing. I meet some people that all they do, oh no, everyone should do it in a trust. And I go, that's bullshit. It's just not true. You've got to understand why would you take this element and put it in this type of investment vehicle that's going to serve this purpose. Again, we want to be intentional and purposeful around what we're doing rather than just relying on blanket statements. Now, the next element is all about safety. When it comes to our safety, there's two things we want to be thinking about. One is that we want to be safe when it comes to our personal portfolio, our personal situation for ourselves and our family and our legacy. Two is safety when it comes to the portfolio. So when it comes to times to safety for the portfolio, this is going to help keep your portfolio and your wealth safe, and so that you can actually go forward and continue to build sustainable wealth. Thirdly is all about succession, which is all about the control and the choice that you want for your future to be able to leave the legacy that you want to be able to have for the future. Now, as we move through to the next phase, this is all about now our profit. And when it comes time to building, creating the profit that we want in our life, here's the thing that we want to understand. The most beautiful strategy in the world doesn't mean squat unless you find the deals that are going to make the difference in your portfolio. So when I'm talking about doing finding deals to make the difference in your portfolio, I'm talking about those off-market strategies which create more profit, which create more cash flow to help accelerate your portfolio and accelerate your overall wealth. And the key thing here is don't be a seagull. The best deals are always done off-market in the portfolio, and this is where you want to establish deal flow. Now, when it comes time to establishing deal flow, and this is where right here in our system right now, okay, this is where we are in our system at this point in time. The biggest difference between being an investor and being a gambler, it comes down to two key things. It comes down to strategy, and it comes down to due diligence. You've got to have a plan and a purpose for what you're doing with every asset with it you're going to bring within your portfolio. And then you have to know how to do effective due diligence to do the right research to be able to make sure that that asset is the right thing for your situation. Now, there are two types of deals you want to be looking at. The first type of deal are income style strategies. The second type of deal are asset style strategies, both of which can serve a purpose within your overall portfolio. Now, when we talk about deal flow, I'm moving through some of these elements quite quickly, team. Apologies. It's coming up 8:30 now. I'm probably still about 10 minutes away, but I'm not far away, team. I want to talk to you about this. So I'm going to move. If I'm flicking through some stuff, it's all good. No worries. I've got some of these trainings available in the Wealth Dojo and things like that as well. You'll be able to get access to it. And they're not mission critical for what you need to understand right now. Now, I'm going to talk, so these income strategies, I'm going to come to those in a moment. Let me just find out where I thought I had them here, but it looks like they skipped them. Okay, so I'm going to talk about these in a second. So the asset style strategy is the things like your property deals you may accumulate, but it may not just be property. It might be blue chip crypto. It might be metals. It could be blue chip shares. It could be funds that you buy. It could be shares you own in private businesses. There's various different ways you could do this. But here's the difference. When you go and accumulate off-market strategies, you can go and make massive uplifts within short periods of time. So a bunch of my clients bought some properties in 2022 in a place called Palara in Brisbane. Because of the type of property that they bought, in the location they bought, the timing they bought, and how it was strategically constructed and negotiated, they got a $190,000 uplift within the space of 12 months. Now, this guy was a first home buyer that did this. Now, he wound up renting out the rooms, room by room, to his mates that now effectively pay the mortgage. Because he's got a $190,000 uplift, we're in the process of actually going and getting an equity release done so he can go and leapfrog into deal number 2. Okay? And literally first home buyer in his early 20s who pulled everything together to go and get this very first deal done. Right? Now, this is a deal one of my clients did in Kangaroo Point. So one of my clients, Alison, did this deal. It was a 1-bedroom plus multi-purpose room. She did this an off-the-plan strategy. She paid $420,000 for this deal in 2021. By 2023, the value of the property is $550,000. That's a $130,000 uplift within the space of 2 years, only putting down a $42,000 deposit into the deal to begin with. A lot of people think that, oh, no, you shouldn't buy off the plans. They don't work. That's a incredibly ignorant comment, incredibly ignorant. The reason I say that is because there's been a lot of stories about off the plans and things like that and how people have lost money in them, and they go and blame the process rather than blaming themselves for choosing the wrong property in the wrong location with the wrong developer at the wrong time of the marketplace. So rather than actually not admitting, well, I didn't know what I was doing, I didn't have a plan, I didn't have a strategy, I didn't know how to do due diligence, I wasn't accessing off-market deals, they go and blame, oh, off the plan is the problem. And I hear this literally all the time, and it's absolutely ignorant. I've done multiple off the plans in my life. Settled one last year. Where is it? This is one of my deals. I combined a 1 and a 2-bedroom off the plan properties, combined them to begin with, a 1-bedroom and a 2-bedroom. Bought it for 1.05 in 2021, sold at 1.28 million, made $230,000 an uplift, and have a blue chip premium unit, which is future proof with all the technology side of things. It's just downstairs from upstairs from all the different eateries and stuff of a regeneration of a suburb. Right. And so to me, I can see huge future growth in this type of asset. And it's a big apartment, which is very rare. And I strategically designed it to suit first home, downsizes and a premium marketplace by doing simple things like, okay, making sure we've got multiple study areas in the apartment, making sure we've actually got things like bathtubs in the apartment, making sure I'm maximizing the living area and the accessibility to things like balconies and such. So there's various different things where I tweak this in a certain way to maximize this for an owner-occupier and specifically a downsizer style marketplace. Now, ironically, what's happened is that I've got 3 young guys living in these, paying a premium level of rent on this, sharing a blue chip premium place, all young in their 20s in professional roles. And so this is actually one of the most undersupplied products in the entire country, 3-bedroom premium apartments, one of the most undersupplied products. One of my other clients did this property in Campbell and ACT, 1 bed, 1 bath, 1 car off the plan, $449,000 purchase price, $550,000 valuation, $101,000 in uplift. I've had clients do business investments. So we did some pre-announcement opportunities in some high growth industries. So we've just gotten into, a bunch of my clients have gotten into some deals in a hemp farm, right? Some pre-announcement side of, so we've done bunches of things actually. But we've just gone into a hemp farm opportunity incredible opportunity, gearing up for an IPO in the next few years. We're getting in at a private level at 10 cents a share, and they're looking to go IPO at a minimum of 30 cents. Their actual target is about $3, right? That's a 30x style return. What if he didn't do $3? What if he did $1.50? 15% return. These are the things where you can get involved in. You put 100 grand into this and you go and turn this into 1.5 million, right? And you literally change your entire financial life. So we've just done a crypto opportunity earlier in last year. We did a 50% plus discount buy, and it was actually around the 78%. We've just done another deal right now at a 75% discount from pre-ICO type of opportunities in Web3 and gaming type of things. Private opportunities, and you just don't get access to these. I only get access to these because they're brought to my table because I've got a reputation in the industry. I just did a lending deal for gold, which was it was 15 to 20% is what it was. Right, for a gold-backed lending opportunity, actually backed by physical gold certificates. I've got strategies that we're doing 20% per annum, 10% paid monthly, 10% paid on completion. Business lending at 8 to 15% returns. Foreign exchange opportunities at 1.5% to 2.5% returns. I've got some interest in gold stuff about to happen at 2% per month. Bonds, I could go on and on and on. The level of opportunity I have are absolutely insane. That can earn far more than probably anything you're going to put your hands on, right? Joint venture development opportunities. We've just done 2 joint ventures. One was a 55% return over 18 months. Another was a 25% return over 12 months. I've got another about to pop up, which is looking like a 30% return over 12 to 18 months as well, right? These are the type of deals that you put in momentum strategies. You turn over chunks of profits on a consistent basis to eliminate debt and build up your capital position. International opportunities. So not everything is held in Australia, and you've got some different pockets of wealth in different areas in the country. I'm a big believer in that. I'm a big believer in setting up sovereignty in your life, right? And so what that means is having different wealth pockets set up in some different areas. So it's not all under the very watchful and greedy eye of the Australian government and the Australian tax office, right? So set yourself up in some different areas. So you've got some exit plans in different spaces. The point is, choose your deal. You can either go shop with everybody else and just get average type of deals, or you could get access to these off-market deals. Who could imagine that getting access to some of these deals could have an impact on the level of results you might create in your financial life? Who thinks they might make a difference? Yeah, this is the stuff that accelerates, right? This is the stuff that accelerates, from property deals to blockchain opportunities, to business opportunities, to joint ventures, to lending, to gold, to FX, to fixed income, plus more and more and more, right? These are some of the deals that we did in 2023, and I've got about another 4 to 5 that I'm gearing up to launch in the next kind of month as well. Yeah, Phil, passive income. And like, 1 income stream is risky, 2 is okay, 3 is stability. That's the initial goal you should be aiming towards. A lot of my clients have 4, 5, 6 income streams flowing into their portfolio right now. Finally, we go into perpetuate, right? This is where we go and get our money, making more money for us. If we don't do this, then what happens is that we often wind up stuck. So instead, we want to get our money making more money for us. So this is where you need to systemize your portfolio. How we do this is we apply what I call the full circle strategy system. In the center of this is your financial freedom figure, right? This is your financial freedom. And what we want to focus on doing, get each of these strategies strategically moving towards this single outcome from your financial flow, right? Because why would you give them more money to manage if you can't manage what you've already got? Your tax less strategy. So you get rid of financial inefficiencies, not just like your income tax, like the taxes you pay for being inefficient. And what I mean by that is that, like, wasting money, losing money, making dumb decisions. They're all taxes that you wind up paying. Your financial fortress, so you create sustainable wealth. Your millionaire modes, because you're never going to out-earn yourself. Your income multiplier. You create multiple income streams. You apply the 6 levers of leverage. So you move beyond just your own limitations of how much time you have, energy you have, money you have, and knowledge you have in any single moment. So there's 6 different levers of leverage. You then have your investment empire, which is how you go and get your DDT, dumb decision tax. Because making mistakes in investing is not a cheap experience. I'll tell you that right now. Your investment empire, so you get your money out there working more for you, harder for you, because your strategy is not about the asset you buy, but rather about the purpose you serve. So I want you to imagine, what if you had these 6 different strategies, all personally designed based on you, all moving towards this financial freedom that you want to create? Could you understand how the system would actually perpetuate? And so you actually start, your system takes on a life of its own, and your money starts making more money for you. And that's really the biggest name of the game. We finished by finally installing investment cycles. Notice that we are now ready to buy assets, and this is where we designed our deal flow. We moved in the system where we didn't touch on the portfolio profits plan, but the wealth systemization strategy, the full circle strategy, right? This is one investment cycle. And what we do is that as we move through one cycle, we get back to the beginning again, and guess what? Everything changes. Your numbers have changed because your whole financial situation has changed. Your financial IQ and investment IQ has absolutely gone up. The market has changed. The economy has changed. Your level of awareness has changed. Your goals might have changed. And so we start back at the very beginning again, and we build our strategy. We get ourselves ready to execute on the strategy. We apply the system, we accumulate more assets, and we start all over again. And this is what we do time and time again as we install investment cycles, as we systematically and strategically accumulate good quality portfolio, good quality assets, and good quality income streams in our portfolio to grow a portfolio of quality and diversified assets which deliver a consistent and sustainable income stream into fund the lifestyle you desire. It's not guesswork. It's a system. Just follow the system. This is what it all is. I told you about Tony. He did this, right? Sorry, I had some other things in there. This didn't come up. But this is what we've covered so far today, team. We spoke about creating a plan. We spoke about how you prepare to execute on your plan. We spoke about protecting yourself. We spoke about how you earn more profits. And we spoke about perpetuating your results so your money makes more money for you. In each of these are the 8 steps to growing your investment portfolio. And the system that I've been speaking about, that I've been devising and fine-tuning for 20 years, tells you absolutely how to do every single one of these. Now, we deal in results. These guys do too. Peter and Julie, Sanders, Rodney and Pin, Ben and Alice, Tony, Vince. Like, I could go on and on and on with these different people that I've helped over the years to be able to grow their portfolios, right? How about the income streams? Danny Ellis is on 2 and working on the 3rd. Anne Marie, one of my clients, she was checking when I was doing this live during a Zoom training, has 5. Rodney, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's on 6. I think he's actually moved to 7. And then he's got a full-time and 2 casual jobs. Rodney's a little bit keen, let's put it that way. 1 in a small share portfolio. Alyssa, 3 income streams and growing in the space of 6 months. Her goal was that she wanted to earn, earn at 1K per month by her birthday. And she just hit that target. I must say one of my financial goals was to earn 1K per month. I'll hit that mark this month, ironically on my birthday. Okay. After 6 months, she's already created $1,000 passive income per month coming into her bank account, right? And is now looking for the next one. All done that in the space of 6 months. And you'll see here, I'm wrapped. I've done this in just over 6 months, and I'm on a pension starting with no spare money, right? It's possible for everybody. The reason these guys have gotten the results that they've gotten is because they followed this process. It's a system. Follow the same system. You wind up creating consistent results in your situation. But you know what? It all started with a single decision. Every single one of these people that I've spoken about tonight, and many, many more, all began with making a single decision that they were going to change their financial life. And after making that decision, they booked a time in with my team. A complimentary 20-minute call, no strings attached, all designed to help to understand your situation, understand where you are, understand where you want to go, get clear on what's holding you back, get clear on what your greatest opportunity is to move forward. And then your very worst case is you have a great conversation, get more clarity, and Baden will point you in the position, in the direction that's going to help you the most. Your next opportunity on a best situation, it's the pivotal point that changes your financial direction forever. You come on board and you start working with us. We get a strategy and we get a pathway in place, right? You then start getting access to off-market deals. You get access to weekly calls that we do. You get access to mentoring programs, so many different things, right? That's all designed to surround you, to support you in going through and building out your portfolio. And so you can start creating financial freedom. Now, team, if we can drop that link in again to book a call. While you're booking in your call, out of everything we've covered tonight, I want to do a quick check-in. What's been the most interesting or useful thing that you've taken, what's the biggest thing that you've taken away from tonight? What is it for you? So team, we've just dropped that link into the chat. Click on that, book in your call. As you are doing that, what has been the most useful, interesting? What's your biggest takeaway, whatever it is? My number one favorite words of wisdom. Stephen, why would you be given more money to manage if you cannot manage what you already have? Hits many raw nerves. Fantastic, and I'm glad it does. Time to take the next step and stop being scared, Sandy, 100%. It all starts with that single step, right? Jane Sine. I thought it said sane before. Apologies about that, Sine. I thought it said sane. System and strategy equals success. Multiple income streams, not just buying gold down. Yes. We were talking about this the other day. Adam says, well, Stephen said, Jet, the system and following the steps and seeing the difference in decision making. Yeah. I want you to become better quality financial decision makers. Malcolm, get those passive income deals going. Bro, that's exactly what we're moving towards right now. Doesn't matter which level you're at. You can always learn or relearn something, 100%. Have foreign investments settle in March, need your help. Okay, cool. Yep. I deal a lot with international stuff now. I realize currently I'm 10% off of the way to 100K passive income, cash flow, no assets yet. Cool. And like, bravo, that's shit hot. So here's what it's like building a portfolio. It feels like watching grass grow to begin with. But then what happens, your portfolio takes on a life of its own. And then it starts to perpetuate. Then it starts to grow. It starts to compound. Yeah, but then it takes on a life of its own. And then all of a sudden you get in this position, you're earning equity, you're making income, you're doing this. And all of a sudden you're earning too much money that you can't access to be able to do things with. Now, incredibly quality problem. Oh dear, look at me. I'm earning so much equity. I don't know what to do with it. I want everyone to have that conversation with themselves at some point. Because you will get there if you commit to the process. Nice, Phil. Fast growing grass at the moment. Had to take a break and talk to a future buyer of a property. Thought you might excuse a break. Malcolm, for you, bro, I 100% will, mate, because that's one of the things we've got to do. So the question you really want to ask yourself right now is, where is your current plan taking you? That's the real question you want to ask yourself. Is it taking you to where you want to be going in the future? If it is, congratulations, incredible. Or is it going nowhere, Phil? Or is it just keeping you stuck where you are right now? Or is it just the work to pay the bills financial slavery trap? right? This is the real question that you need to ask yourself. Where is your current plan taking you? Because the whole thing, if nothing changes, then nothing changes, rings really true here. You can't keep doing the same thing and expect a different result. It doesn't work that way. That's just relying on buying and hoping. And investors don't gamble. And you shouldn't be gambling with your financial future. You want to take control of this area. Yeah, Belinda, this is so good. After learning from Todd for quite a while, I finally feel it's actually doable for us in that situation. It 100% is. Right? A few problems you might be facing right now. You're frustrated with your current level of financial results and you're unsure of what to do next. Is that true for anybody? The symptoms might feel like this. Your portfolio is not performing in the way you thought you might like, or you don't have one. You're sick to death of just getting by. You want to make more money and grow your wealth and do it faster and safer. You're feeling scared of making mistakes or frustrated you're not moving fast enough. Right? Who here can resonate with that? Malcolm, I appreciate that, man. Take the opportunity and first step having Todd as your honest and personal guide to a better financial future. Is no one more genuine and loyal. Malcolm, I really value that, man. Thank you. Adam, so good. I'm halfway there with my beliefs in myself. This is so good. This is big stuff to start shifting. What you are lacking, if this is you, is an effective strategy and the real world financial education to get on the right path, protect yourself, and then accelerate. So what you want to do instead is you want to get your money working hard for you, have a plan for the future you can feel confident about, and build a portfolio you can rely upon and bring in passive income. Right? That's what needs to start happening. The second big thing is you're not where you want to be in the level of freedom and choices you want in your life. The symptoms. You know that life is about so much more than working to pay the bills. You feel like you are stuck, spinning your wheels, and you're unsure of how to get off the treadmill. You see others creating big results and you wish you could do the same. Who's experienced this or is experiencing this right now? What you want more of is you want more time, you want more opportunity, and you want more resources. So your life isn't limited by your income. What you need to have is the right system in place and have the mentoring support and access to quality deals to be able to change it. Third, you want to exit the rat race and stop just going around and around and around doing the same thing, working to pay the bills. How do you know if this is true for you? Being in the same position you're in right now in 5 or 10 years' time from now is like a nightmare. But this is what you got to be thinking about. What if you were in the exact same position you're in right now in 5 years' time? So good. The event on the coast absolutely destroyed a lot. Taken lots of time to change thought processes, more than I thought. Worth the pain so far. It's good, man. Perry, booked your call. Awesome, bro. Got on you for taking action. You want more for you, for your family, and for your legacy. You know you're worth more than what you are demonstrating right now. What you want, an exit plan and a clear pathway out. You want to know your right next step, what your right next step is, and how to find and select the right deals for your situation. You want to know how to avoid making expensive mistakes. It's not just learning about what to do, it's also about learning what not to do. But today, you may have been giving in a fear and have favored your excuses over your results. Because let me tell you something that's really important. You can either be committed to your excuses or committed to your results. You can't be committed to both at the same time. Nice, Kylie. Congratulations. What you need is a more effective decision-making strategy. Here's what I truly do fundamentally believe is that freedom is your birthright, and it's time for you to take it back. Most will never get there because they have no education, they have no strategy, they have no team, they have no guidance. And it's not the amount of money that you actually have. You've got to focus on crafting your wealth business plan. But this is what the game is all about, team. Can we drop that booking link in one more time? So, if you're still sitting on the fence, you've really got to ask yourself why. What's holding you back from taking that next step just to book that call? Is it fear? Is it past belief systems? Is it excuses that you just committed to right now that you're not ready to let go of? Like, what is the reason that's holding you back from taking the next step in your financial life right now? And when you've got a moment to yourself at some point in time, I really want you to think about that, because your financial future isn't waiting for you. It's going to turn up. The future's coming, whether you like it or not, right? You've just got to decide, where are you going to be in 12 months from now, in January of 2025? Are you still in the same position, thinking about that you want to start investing? Or have you taken positive action forward to change your financial life? Because if you want it to be, this could be the pivotal moment in your life where your financial future is never the same again. And everything changes from this moment. But at some point in time, every single person has to draw the line in the sand. I had to. Every one of my investors that are online with me tonight had to. And I'm so proud of you beyond belief. I really am. Every one of those investors that I've spoken about tonight, they did. And you know what? You can do too. I can show you how to do it. I can give you all the pathways, all the systems, all the strategies, all my learnings over 20 years. I can even give you profits and cash flow from epic off-market deals, but I can't help you make this decision. You've got to do it yourself and step up to the plate and just get it done. And that's what the game is fundamentally all about now. So, team, I've gone hugely over time. Some of you who have been with me for a while are not surprised in any way, shape, or form. I can't help myself. I just want to give you guys as much as I possibly can, because I really do care about your results, right? I just want to say a big thank you for, if it's not an event, if it ends on time. Adam, thank you. Mine was, I was arrogant. I thought I was so much better, right, in all areas of my life. Thank you for your honesty. That's a level of awareness there. I'm glad I've crossed paths holding this stage of my life. Man, I appreciate that. Nice, Phil. Awesome. I just want to say a big thank you to all of you that joined in tonight. I can't wait to see how 2025 pans out. I probably say this every year, but I'm so excited for this year. Like, this year feels like, there's a lot of chaos in the last 4 to 5 years. There's a lot of chaos. This year feels like it's time to get shit done. It feels like implementing. That's what it feels like. Yeah, feels like a big structured-based implementing year, right? I was speaking to some of you guys earlier. I was even heard my rants and things like that, some of the lessons. Every year I set a theme for the next 12 months. I'm just waxing lyrical with you guys here now. If you got to go, cool. I'm just chatting. If you guys, every year I set a theme for what this year is going to be about. Thanks, Alison. Appreciate you. And for me, right, I like to set these themes that were my North Stars for the years that I'm going into. Last year was all about devotion, right? That's what it was all about. And I'm going to continue with devotion to life, to love, to legacy. This year, I'm continuing with devotion, but my other thing, which has really come along, is structured as fuck. I'm just going, I'll be upfront. That's what it's about. This year feels like a big, let's lay these foundations deeper and stronger, go deeper into the earth so that we can go and implement like crazy people. That's what it feels like to me. One of my spiritual teachers I work with, who does a lot of astrology and things like that. Thanks, James, and I appreciate you. Was talking about that this year as well. Like, that is really what's showing in planets and things like that. Is I can't explain that with any type of authority or elegance at all. But they were talking about like that being the same thing. So really, really interesting. I'm not the spiritual teacher, my friend. I work with some. It's probably one of the biggest areas of my life, though. It's one of the things I focus on most. Yeah. Yeah, one of the things I focus on most. I spend a lot of time in the world of spirit and the world of plants and the world of things. Yep. Some of you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, cool. People, sending much love. Thank you so much for being here. I'm going to bounce, and 7 o'clock over here in Singapore right now. I'm definitely feeling like it's 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock at the moment. I only got here yesterday, just here for a couple of days and coming back home again. So I hope everyone's surviving in Australia, all of the crazy weather. And Adam, did you just say that there's some wild weather moving my way again down in the Currumbin Valley? Well, is this still crazy in the Gold Coast? I don't know if Adam's still on. He might have bounced off already. Anyway, I'm going to have a look it up. There was, okay. Yeah, when I left, it was still bananas. Like, it was still just stupid, just so much rain. But I've got this beautiful waterfall coming down. I live in a rainforest, right? So I've got this beautiful waterfalls in my forest. And so it was so stunning just wandering out there in the rain and just going up and looking at all the waterfalls and the creek running. It's just such a beautiful area. Yeah, Stephen. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Adam, thanks, man. I appreciate it. So good. All right. Everyone, thank you. Go and enjoy your night. Otherwise, I'll keep chatting on other stuff. All right. Night, everyone. Appreciate you. Book a time. Let's get it done. Implement. All right. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, team, for being the backbone for everything I do. I appreciate you all. I know Eva was online. Baden was online. Eve, Phil, all you guys that help me do what I do. Appreciate you guys all. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Baden. Appreciate you, man. What about Super Adam goes? I can start some more rants if you want. Brocky, thanks, mate. All right. Thanks, everyone. Ciao. Bye.